Just making sure I'm not muted this time. Greetings, salutations, and welcome to Abyssal Musings number 82. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and with me is my co-host and partner Lawrence Knight. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Everybody.
So, top of the show, probably should mention before we get into saying hello to chat. This might not be a particularly long episode. Both Lawrence and I are, for varying reasons, exhausted. It's been a long
Yeah.
week, so we might not go like the full 2 hour distance tonight, but we're here. We're here.
We are here. So yeah, I mean, we might hit. I think we'll probably hit an hour, maybe an hour and a half, guys. But yeah, we Sam and I have been, running. Like both of us have been running and doing stuff. And normally we're in contact with each other throughout the week. And honestly, I think this is the first time we've spoken since last Friday. I know last Saturday.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean, to be fair, aside from the two shows that I did on other channels this week, I haven't really talked to anybody outside of like my work associates.
and that's because you were at work. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, folks. So we've got some stuff for you tonight. Don't worry. It's tonight anyway was is news night. As you know, we tinker and kind of fix around with things, and we're adding constantly adding up new content, and so we're still doing a cryptid thing. Um, but what I want to do is I want to have excuse me. We're trying to make it so that we have a theme for each week because I feel like the cryptids we're not, I'm not we're not able to give it the full. I wanted to do a whole show on the cryptids, right? And what's happening is because it's proven to be harder to get information on some than others. And I think it's because it's going to take me more time. I think I need to do more research. And so, what I want to do is, one week we get into the cryptid thing, another week, um, we're going to mix some stuff up. We're coming up. We already have some other concepts that we've come up with. The nice power quiz that's going to be a 1 month thing, but we're not going to do we're not going to do that and a Sporkle quiz at the same time because you guys, that PowerPoint quiz, as you saw the way I formatted it, it takes the whole show. So what we're going to do is we're going to add Sporkle quiz will still be around, but we're going to add it as part of a different week. So stay tuned. Like I said, we're still growing and we're putting stuff together. I'm going to bring back a concept that that we came up with last. You remember when we came up with that versus concept where we took like different entities and monsters and we kind of want to have a discussion
Oh
as
yeah.
to who would win that. Excuse me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I
We did one, and then Amir mocked us relentlessly for it live.
but you know what though? What do you expect from what do you talk about cryptids? She's our cryptid, like she's the local gin around here. So what do you expect from the gin? You guys are nerds. Da, 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 da. You know,
I
but
mean, yeah, we are nerds, but yeah.
so, but yeah, that's one of the things that we're gonna bring back because I really enjoy that, and I think that I want to get the chat involved, and if I'm seeing the hell are you fools booing me for, Mag, because I was first, and
I think they're
and
just
see
messing with you.
now this is the stuff that it's always this fool that derails the goodwill, and I'm talking about Richard Hell, not L like the letter L. I mean Hell, because you notice, Sam, over the last several months, I've laid off of him. I thought we had a truce going, and so
Yeah, yeah. You switched your ire to Andy Pickle.
yeah, I did. But of course, he wouldn't come over, and then there's Kohai right underneath him, throwing him under the bus. right? So, so folks, this is the nonsense. You have to understand this is the stuff that we're talking about. And then going back to our local cryptid who pops up out of nowhere and then has the nerve to get mad because we call her the local Jen. What do you mean I'm a Jen? I'm not a Jen. Yeah, you're a Jen. You know, she's definitely the cryptid of the show. Her and Nomi. So so we got two cryptids. But anyway, um, back to the concept. So yeah, we're definitely gonna be bringing the heat this year, guys. And I've already started on the other power quiz. I'm like halfway done with it, and it's called Red, White, and Boom for a good reason. Um, Sam, of course, Sam, of course, was full of ire and vinegar over the last one. The hell was that? You make us watch these videos and you ask us questions that don't make no damn sense. And so
That's a paraphrase, but yes.
he's backstage on somebody else's show complaining about what I did.
You heard about that, did you?
Like, Sam was back, how Sam was good and mad because of what you did. I'm like, what? He's like,
Oh yeah, we got into that was the last week of Beelzebub, and horror was on there with me as well, and we got into the backstage, and and Devil opens that up, and Devil goes, so how you doing? And I was just like, that motherfucker Larry. And it just kind of went from there.
And the best thing about it is, folks, is the last one was a test case because I wasn't sure if it was going to work or not. But we had a great panel and we had a great chat, and you guys made it a success. So when I thanked all of you, I meant it. But and now this time, now I've got a bigger idea. And the worst thing that could have happened was me finding out how mad you were, Sam, because this one's got stuff on there. Just ideas were popping in my head, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he is gonna be pissed when he sees this one." But that's okay. That's okay. That's part of the fun. But we already, I already know who I want to invite back onto the panel. Of course, that's a discussion you and I can have together. I see Caucasian Sasquatch in the chat. Of course, we got to have Scott Sasquatch back on the channel. Now, he was where I effed up because we know that Sasquatch is smart. We know that. But I underestimated the power of that man's recall and something told me some of the answers. I was like, he's going to catch this. But then I was like, maybe not. Let me go on. Let me go ahead. Now, I'll be doggone if every question that I had that I thought about changing, not only did he get it right, but Nomi got it right too. And folks, in case you guys don't know, because I added up the scores, Nomi cleaned everybody out. Nomi cleaned everybody out. I mean, some people got close, but I don't know how she got all that stuff right. I don't know how she got all those answers right, but she did. But with that being said, Sam, let's go ahead and say hi to the chat.
Right. As stated earlier, Lawrence and I is first. We got Richard L.
All the time.
Good to see you, man.
No, it's not.
Go hi. Good to see you. We have Zillage in the chat, also booing you because I think everybody else is.
It takes a zillage. It takes a zillage to have the courage to boo me.
Yeah. We have Caucasian Sasquatch telling us we're late. Dude, it was like 3 seconds. We weren't that late. Like this time we actually showed up about when we said we were going to. We got Andy Pickle with us. Good to see you, my man. And I see Aaron Laura. Hello. We've got Beak. Saw you last night. I was in I went on Squatch's show last night, and it was like a 5-hour drunken argument. It was kind of epic.
Oh man, yeah, I bet that was fun.
But Beak was in the chat there, so hey Luke Castley, good to see you. Excuse me for just a second. I'm trying not to cough on stream anymore. Because it's gross when I do it. I close my eyes and point at the computer screen. I don't understand what that means.
I'm afraid to ask.
Is that a reference to something or like a song lyric that I'm missing somewhere?
I don't know. I don't, because I'm sitting there wondering. I'm like, Sam, what did you do? Because I know it wasn't me.
I don't know.
At least not yet. Oh, playing the
Oh,
quiz game.
playing the quiz game. Yeah. I got you.
Aaron,
Yeah,
you got some answers right though.
I'm not gonna lie, Aaron. Sometimes I do that too.
Oh,
Hey,
it's
Suka, good to see you.
Luca's here.
Yeah. Speaking of Suka, Kohai mentioned a little bit ago. I'm glad neither of you came up missing after last week's video. I am too. I'm really happy about that.
She showed
You
the
know,
video on her show the next night.
she
Still
got
yelling at
bullied
me.
into doing it, but yes.
No. Skirt. Let's stop that. Nobody bullies that Jen into doing anything that she doesn't want to do. She mentioned it before she even noticed that I put the link in the chat. And folks, when she said she was gonna get her revenge, she did. As soon as we went on her, as soon as she came on, she mentioned a video. Then she put Suka in a naughty corner. Then she put me in a naughty corner. Then she threatened Sam. I think didn't she put you in a naughty corner at some point?
No, she did. Like the last 10 minutes of her show, she
That's
put me
right.
in timeout. Like I was desperately trying to say goodnight to the chat and nothing would go through. And for the record, the only person on that channel who can put me in timeout is her. So I was just like, what the fuck, man? I'm trying to say goodnight.
Yeah. And it wasn't normally when she puts you in a naughty corner, it's by the honor system, or actually one of us would do it. She actually timed us all out. She actually and then wouldn't let us on the panel.
Yeah,
She was.
it was pretty funny.
Why did you do a panel? Oh, I didn't need to, and I was kind of thinking. I was like, nah, there's more to it than that. I was like, Saturday show, no panel, 2 hours. I was like, nah.
No, it was pretty funny. We got off the live and she's like, "Hey, how are you guys doing?" I was like, "How fucking long did you time me out for, woman?"
She timed me out for a long time too, because I couldn't say nothing for a long time. I was like, did she hit like the 10-minute button? Because you guys don't know.
Got me.
What?
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
she only timed me out because I wanted to repeat that joke that I told on this show the night before when she pulled out the parachute, and she was not happy about that. So
Zilla said 300. So she timed you out for like 5 minutes. But I do remember when she did that, and then she was like, "Oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. I feel so bad. Sam, he likes to say goodbye to the chat." And I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, I like to talk to the chat. You timed me out. Suka likes to talk to the chat. Suka didn't even say anything, and she timed him out. She was like, F that, Suka. You're a naughty quarter. And before I could even say anything, she knew I was gonna say something. She was like, I already know he didn't say anything. Go to the naughty corner. And then I said something. She's like, Larry, go to the naughty corner.
It was good. It was a good show. It was fun.
And she's like, I got a list. All of you. Sam, Suka, Larry, Zilly, all of you. And she's messaging me last Friday. I don't even think you know this. She's messaging me last Friday. She's texting me before she even came on. You're all fired. All of you.
No,
I'm coming for all of you.
I got that too. I got that message too. Because this was right after you had this wasn't even during the show. This was earlier in the day when you had sent her the thumbnail for Suka's new video. And she just texts us both and she's like, "You're all fired."
Yeah, that was funny. And then but I heard him put that. I had to put that link in the chat though, because I knew she was gonna time me out. I knew Suka was in trouble because he made the video. But then she messed up because she started making those funny sounds, and I was like, that's getting clipped. That's what got me timed out because I put clip it. Because Suka was like, I don't know if I want to clip this. I was like, clip that, Suka. She's like, go ahead, corner.
Yeah. So let this be a lesson to everybody out there who watches stuff on the internet or engages in it. Anything that you say or do can and probably will be used against you, probably by your friends, probably in the very near future. So just, you don't want them clipping shit. Don't give them
That's
a
right.
reason to.
That's right. You know what? That's what got him put in the naughty corner. Because she threatened us, and then he said she had nice earrings on, and she's like, Suka, you know I've been wearing these same earrings for the last 3 years. Go to the naughty corner, and then she timed him out.
Yes. She was on a roll. Anyhow, but yeah, welcome in everybody in the chat and everybody who's watching us and lurking there. We appreciate all of you. Thanks for being here. And listening to us rant about how abused we are.
Yeah, she did. And yes, she did, Mr. Pickle. And she was waiting for all of us as soon as that video started. she was
Yeah.
she was like, I got names, I got a list. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I was like, whatever, Jen. But as for tonight's show, guys, let's get things started. So I saw this, and I agree. I've never heard of anybody. Whoever thought of this has too much time on their hands.
That's not even stoner food. That's like fentanyl crack food.
You know, I've never been on drugs, and I pray I never will be.
Look, I've eaten some silly ass shit on pot, but this is.
I know people who stay high and they wouldn't eat this. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar covered in ketchup. The latest disturbing food trend, gracing people for look at this. For you pages on TikTok is a popular chocolate candy slathered in the tomato-based condiment.
Like who looks at a stick that's essentially like nougat and caramel covered in chocolate and says, you know what would make this even better? Fucking ketchup.
Yeah, that's not. Look, dip like French fries into ketchup, or the entire bar smothered by it. The combination has gone viral in every way you can imagine. I don't want to imagine. That's the problem.
I was like, this is what gender identity shit gets you. Eventually, somebody starts eating Kit Kats with ketchup. I'm just saying. Well, cats laying down with dogs, right? Up is down, right is wrong, black is white.
Dogs and cats living together, all kinds of crazy stuff. So naturally, many people are grossed out by the strange combination, but others say not to yuck their yum. Okay.
No, I'm gonna yuck it.
Yeah. The trend appears to have first made its rounds in 2021, but it had a resurgence with even Heinz and Kit Kat getting in on it. Oh no. The official Kit Kat Instagram account posted a video of employees testing the combo for themselves with mixed reviews and mixed responses in the comments. I feel this trend will take some time to catch up, someone quipped. Jail.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, jail. Now, goodbye, another rope. The fact this is coming from the official Kit Kat page scares me, a user said. Even Kit Kat Canada, of course. Suka.
He said they have what, ketchup chips up there.
Yeah.
I assume you mean chips as in like fried potato slices. I'm assuming. I don't know. In Canada, they call chips are the same as they are in the U.S. I think. In England, they're what we call French fries, but
I guess. But yeah. Even Kit Kat Canada expressed concern, commenting, "Is everyone okay over there?" Oh, so they're coming in judgment. Okay, well, I can't
The
blame them.
Canadians,
Yeah, yeah,
the
they're coming
Canadians are
in.
saying, "Yo, this is fucked up," and they fucking kill people for a paper cut.
Yeah, Isuka's saying Ruffles. Oh, that's
I don't
just
know. I don't know if I would do that.
one TikTok
Oh,
user tried. Ugh. One TikTok user tried it in response to a comment claiming the snack was surprisingly good, and while he had his doubts, he laughed with glee after taking a bite. Does the government know about this? He quipped, "This feels illegal. This should be illegal. How does that work?" Uh-oh.
Good. Well, I have my doubts about this, but let's give her a try here. Kit Kat. Ketchup.
I hate everything about this.
I get in the nooks and crannies. Right there.
That's
The
what she
crackle
said.
There you go.
crevices. Ah,
Does the government know about this? This feels illegal. This should be illegal.
Because it's wrong.
Why does that work? I don't even know. I'm emotional now.
I'm still
Nope.
not eating it. How do people find these combinations? Was it like, oops, I spilled? My guess is prison. I spilled my ketchup and said, "F it, I'm gonna eat it anyway." Can't decide if I'm more upset about the combo or the way you ate that Kit Kat. Another wrote, referencing he almost broke his seat, dancing, jumping up for glee. Referencing how the user bit into the bar rather than breaking it. Well, I mean, why at that point he's got ketchup all over? Why break it and get it all over his hands and potentially get it all over his shirt? While the combo isn't necessarily an obvious choice, there's a reason why it works and why it has some shockingly positive reviews. The saltiness of the ketchup actually complements the sweet cacao of the Kit Kat, similar to
I
a
don't.
sweet and salty treats that people often crave.
So, a little bit of a half remembered history lesson for y'all. Ketchup was invented by people in the days when there was no refrigeration to cover the taste of rotting meat. You can literally eat anything with ketchup. You could eat my shoe with ketchup if you had enough of it. So I'm failing to see how you're tasting anything but the ketchup here, and that's a lot of ketchup for one bite.
I didn't know that's why ketchup was made.
Oh yeah, yeah. World War I trenches, I think.
And I already don't like ketchup. Now I really don't like ketchup. Because think about it. If you order meatloaf, right? Isn't the isn't it isn't it ketchup that they top it off with? Is
Yes.
it meatloaf
Yeah.
or
Well, it depends on the recipe, but yeah, if the recipe calls for that, then yeah, there's usually like a layer of ketchup baked onto the top of it. Yeah.
uh, and I can't stand the taste of the cake. I just can't do it. I just can't do it.
I
That
hate
makes two
ranch
of us.
dressing so much.
That makes two of us, Andy. I don't like ranch dressing either. Anyway, could this snack could this be the big snack combo in the future? Look, you guys, if you want to put ketchup on this on a Kit Kat and do all this stuff, you go ahead and do you. Just please don't do it around me. Or give me a heads up so I can go somewhere else.
Kit ketchup. That's actually pretty funny. It's kind of clever.
How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet that there at the very least was a board meeting about doing exactly that?
Yeah, probably. Well, that looked like an ad for ketchup flavored Kit Kats, like not even just putting ketchup on a Kit Kat.
That's what I'm saying. It'll probably be. I mean, you have the chocolate, and then they'll bake a layer. Like meatloaf, bake a layer of ketchup in it. Under. So you got the nougat and whatever the hell that is in there, and then you got the chocolate over it, and then they'll put the ketchup over it.
Yeah, it's just nougat and nougat wafers and caramel.
Yeah. So, but I'm willing to bet they at least consider that. The question is, will they get enough of a buzz for it, to even consider, putting money into that? I don't think so. Especially because it's going to cost more, so people will be like, "Look, I'll just, I got some ketchup in my refrigerator. I'll just buy some regular ones and just cover it."
Yeah, I don't like this idea. This is not a good idea. I don't love ketchup enough to put it on my fucking candy.
Aaron Laura says Kit Kat meatloaf.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it doesn't have ketchup on it, I might try that. Andy saying, "Eat pickle." What? Piece?
That's from Happy Gilmore.
Okay.
Yeah, the bit where Peter McGavin, he's like, "I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast," and Adam Sandler goes, "You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?" And he's like, no.
That's nasty. So this next one. Now, thankfully, this has nothing to do with food. We were shifting on. Did you hear about this YouTuber that got in trouble? I think it was sometime last year. He pulled. So this YouTuber, so he got arrested because he got these two girls to fly up in a helicopter. Now I don't know if he bought the Lamborghini or if he rented it or what, but he got these two ladies. They got them in the helicopter. They flew around in circles around the car and fired fireworks at it. A popular
No, I don't
YouTuber
remember hearing about this.
A popular YouTuber faces federal charges after a video showed two women shooting fireworks out of a helicopter at a Lamborghini in a social media stunt. Suk Min Choi, who is Suk Min Choi, who goes by the name Alex Choi, which is he must be Korean because Choi that's a dead ringer, a dead giveaway for Korean usually. On social media, was charged with causing the placement of an explosive or incendiary device on an aircraft. The charges stem from a video Choi posted around July 4th. So 4th of July.
Yeah, I don't know. I always get a kick out of it when they say a popular YouTuber because I like half of these guys I've never heard of, and that's not to say that they're not popular. They're just not popular in the circles of YouTube I run in because I have no fucking idea who this person is or when this happened. So yeah.
Yeah, me neither. But I mean, you talk about now I gotta find this video for Red, White, and for Red, White, and Boom. Now I gotta find it. I've got some good ones. I've got some good videos on there already. And it's it's something else I'm going to talk to you about offline too. That I think I might have figured out. But yeah. So the video is called "Destroying a Lamborghini with Fireworks." So you know what I'm about to do, right? I'm about to see if I can find this sucker. I'm going to see if it's on YouTube because I'm willing to bet that it is. Let's see. Is it? Oh my Lord, it is. It show is. So we'll watch it after we finish after I do this. All right. So according to a federal criminal affidavit that was filed, of course, so the authorities said Choi did not obtain, so he didn't get required approval from the FAA. The FAA were never going to approve something like that. Never. And that's probably why he didn't ask them. He didn't have an explosive license or permit. Where is it from the ATF? Have you seen what the ATF is doing? The ATF tried to turn 6 million people into felons for having a pistol brace that does absolutely nothing but stabilize their freaking arm. This guy. Well, what do you need this for? Oh, we're gonna take 2 fireworks cannons, or we're gonna fire them at a Lamborghini that could catch fire and explode after we're done, or while we're shooting at them and cause a huge issue. Boy, yeah, he presses a fire missiles button, and 2 women in a moving helicopter shoot fireworks towards the luxury sports vehicle. And the other thing is, why? Why would you
For
want to destroy
clicks. I think Andy is dead on about that. For clicks.
Yeah, he
The
did.
whole
I
the
understand
whole
that
for clicks thing has changed our culture entirely. People do
Yeah.
all kinds of irrational shit for that now.
Yeah, I know. I know he did it for clicks, but what I'm saying is, I still have to say, why would you want to destroy that? Was a beautiful machine, but you know what? You go ahead and get yourself arrested was exactly what you did. So after the shooting, what appears to be a live action version of a fictionalized video game scene, the video transitions to a behind the scenes look at how Choi shot the first round of the video. So, but hey, he has nearly 1 million subscribers on his YouTube channel. I guess he's trying to do something. He's probably trying to get over the hump, to get to 1 million. Of course, he couldn't be reached. They don't know if he's got an attorney. He posted a $50,000 bond, and his arraignment is scheduled for July 2nd, almost a year to the day, buddy, that you did it. My guess is he's probably gonna get slapped with one hell of a fine. I'm not sure if he'll do any jail time. I think he's probably gonna get some kind of long-term probation, and they're gonna slap him with a fine, a serious fine, probably a couple $100,000. I'm guessing, because they're gonna make an example out of him. Because he obviously.
If he has the money to blow up a fucking Lamborghini, he'll probably be all right.
Yeah. Yep. Helicopter's transponder was turned off.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, Suka, is like he's gonna get more money from the views on this shit than he'll have to pay in the fines.
Yeah.
And YouTube's certainly not going to take him down or take any kind of real disciplinary action against the guy, because if he's bringing in views, they're seeing advertising dollars. No, that's how it usually works. Us smaller guys, on the other hand, I realize it's funny me talking about popular YouTubers I've never heard of when, I mean, I occupy a very small corner of YouTube myself, but you get to this point where, yeah, that's essentially it. It's like, if you were more or less playing in the rules. I mean, there's a reason that guys like PewDiePie, for example, he got canceled for using a particular slur a few years back. He's still on YouTube. They did not kick him off of YouTube because he has made them more money than God. Yeah, they are not going to kick PewDiePie off ever. It doesn't matter what they might officially rebuke him in public, but he can do what he likes. Frankly,
hell, YouTube might have paid his fine. They might have paid his fine. And check this out. Here's another guy. 2021, Trevor Jacob pled guilty last year to 1 count of destruction and concealment with the intent to obstruct a federal investigation. Prosecutors said Jacob lied to investigators and an FAA safety inspector about why he ejected from his Taylor Craft BL65 before a crash in November 2021.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's check out the video. Let's see.
We're going to want to be careful about this. Some of these larger YouTubers are pretty touchy about DMCAing stuff.
Oh no! This is all from the news. This is all from the news. Let's do. Let me know if you don't hear it.
Are arrested and
you hear that?
Is it playing? It doesn't look like it's playing.
No, I haven't played it yet. I played it for a second.
Local
influencers. Well, I can hear it.
federal charges after this wild video was posted on his YouTube channel and it went viral. That video, titled "Destroying a Lamborghini with Fireworks," was posted last July. Prosecutors say 24-year-old.
Oh, wait, now here's my question though. No, because I know I skimmed through it. Who was he driving the freaking Lamborghini?
I mean, it seems like the kind of asinine stunt that, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Year-old Alex Choi was the person behind that dangerous video shoot. KTLA's Carlos Salcedo, live in downtown LA. He's got a lot more on this story. Carlos?
Ladies, good afternoon. His videos have garnered millions of views online, but the stunts are illegal. This according to federal prosecutors. So today, Alex Choi made his first court appearance after being arrested. Pyrotechnics shooting out of a flying helicopter. The stunt looks like it's from a Hollywood blockbuster film, but these are no special effects. Federal prosecutors say they're the real deal.
We have learned of the investigation for a number of months. The FAA had previously investigated.
Hey, isn't she one of your exes?
No, I don't know who that woman is. Why would you say that?
Dominique Camano, U.S. Attorney. She's probably looking for you.
I don't know why she
this
would
case,
Yeah, you do.
in December of 2023.
On Thursday, the Department of Justice announced charges against Alex Choi, a Studio City man and social media influencer who has gained notoriety for posting such stunts.
It's a fairly simple, straightforward case. In this case, being a firework. Putting a firework is against the law on any aircraft. Whether it's a helicopter or a commercial aircraft, you're not supposed to put fireworks on aircrafts.
In this scenario, fireworks are being shot at a Lamborghini from an in-flight helicopter. Investigators believe Choi committed the offense June of 2023 in San Bernardino County. He did not have a permit to film a shoot using fireworks, purchasing them in Nevada. According to the affidavit, Choi is seen in the video pushing a fire missiles button, shooting the fireworks at a speeding sports car. The clip has since been removed from Choi's YouTube account.
You're looking at a very serious
Well, yeah, because it's evidence. Now, here's the thing. Now, here's what I think possessed him to do this. And I remember, a lot of people don't know, I was stationed at the Army base that's in the desert over there. There is a stretch of the desert that is literally a no man's land. It's not regulated by anything. And so he might have thought that he was in an area where he could do that and that the government couldn't do anything to him. Because I'll tell you right now, there's grenades and all kinds of stuff that people have done, that the military, other people have done over there, have left over there without any kind of legal repercussions. So my guess is he probably thought that he was in that one of those spots. But where, and even if he was, where they probably got him was, well, chances are, you had to get the fireworks there somehow, and he probably loaded them up, in a place where we still had jurisdiction. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a long time since I was out there. The rules may have changed, but I do remember that the last time I was living in that area, there was a stretch that, people go out there, they shoot their guns and all this stuff, and there's nothing the government can do about it. Nothing.
Yeah,
because
it's like Andy Pickle's saying here. There's a place on Yellowstone, right on the border of Idaho, that's 1 mile wide and 50 miles long, where it doesn't fall under either state's jurisdiction, and it's essentially the lawless no man's land.
Yep. There's nothing they can do. So my guess is he probably thought that's where he was and got surprised for his life. And he may very well have been. It's just, it's California. So, and it's the feds. So it is what it is on his end.
And the statute has up to 10 years.
And nobody was injured, but prosecutors say it's still early on in their investigation, and others involved in making these videos could face possible charges in the near future. We're live in downtown LA. Carlos Salcedo, KTLA 5 News.
And like I said,
they're gonna get into fucking constitutional issues there. And by the way, the ATF is an unconstitutional fucking agency, but whatever. But yeah, they're gonna get into some shit there, you know.
Yep, that's what I said. This was going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky for a variety of reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now the next one. Now this tripped me out, and I feel so bad for people who experienced this. ER docs thought I was drunk, but I actually have a rare condition. So this, of course, isn't. This is about something about some
Yeah,
type
because
of
alcoholism is not rare at all.
Right. A 50-year-old woman baffled doctors when she visited emergency rooms 7 times over 2 years, showing signs of alcohol intoxication, even though she does not drink. She told doctors her religion does not allow drinking, and her husband verified she does not drink. Dr. Rachel Zuwood, an infectious disease specialist at the University of Toronto, Canada. Okay, Zillage. This is probably her husband. Zhu treated the unidentified woman and co-authored a Monday report on her case in the Canadian Medical Association journal. The woman suffers from auto-brewery syndrome, a rare but serious condition that occurs when an overgrowth of yeast or bacteria in the gastrointestinal tract turns carbs from food into alcohol via fermentation. Wow.
Huh.
Can you imagine getting pulled over by the cops and they're just hitting you with all kinds of charges? They're doing breathalyzers. I mean, you know, and you're like, I haven't had anything to drink. And they're like, be it, you know, because with the cop, that's just gonna make them even angrier, you know. And I would think, even here, if this was America, if this had happened here, which it probably has, you know, that person has lost their driving privileges because driving is not a right. You know, so say goodbye to driving until you get that situation taken care of. This is not the first case. Oh, go ahead.
Well, you know, I'm surprised that they're bothering to treat her at all in Canada. Like, no offense to our Canadian friends and all that stuff, but I mean, am I out of line when I say that the first thing that they, you know, they just, you bring up some kind of new thing to them, something where they're going to actually have to work for a living, and they're going to be like, so have you considered euthanasia?
I knew you were going there.
I fucking hate MAID so much, man. It is an evil practice.
Yeah. Anyway, this is not the first case of auto-brewery syndrome, which has been described in the medical literature since the 1940s. So this thing isn't new. This isn't new. Okay. A Belgian man was acquitted of a drunk driving charge in April after 3 doctors confirmed his diagnosis. A former Long Islander, so it has happened here, lost his teaching and coaching jobs because of alcohol-related accusations. Shared his story last year. People who have diabetes, liver disease, and abnormal contractions in their intestines or inflammatory bowel disease are at greater risk for auto-brewery syndrome, which can occur in healthy people who have taken antibiotics. So antibiotics is the culprit that opens up the door for this to happen to you. In the latest case, a Toronto woman battled excess sleepiness. She would fall asleep suddenly while getting ready for work or preparing meals. She went to her doctor several times about her sleep troubles, according to the report.
So she had narcolepsy.
That's what I was thinking. That sounds like narcolepsy. That don't sound like being drunk. That sounds like narcolepsy. She fell because, and you know what? And there's I had a buddy of mine who was a narcoleptic, and I saw a video of him. He was at a wedding and fell asleep and fell over.
Yeah. I knew a guy who broke his nose because, you know, you could fall asleep at any time doing anything. He's out jogging and shit. Next thing he knows, he face plants on the pavement.
Oh,
he just went to sleep mid stroke or mid stride.
Can you imagine being the CEO of a company and falling asleep in the middle of a board meeting? Like you're talking and you just boom, you're just out.
To be fair, board meetings are pretty fucking boring. So yes, I could imagine that.
Yeah. I remember one of my units, our general was giving he was leading a meeting, and one of the other guys in my section, they had him doing the slides, and he fell asleep while the general was going over everything, and he says his name, like I'll say the let's say I'll use the last name Jones. Jones isn't his last name, but he was just like, Jones, next slide. Jones, next slide. And you look over, and Jones is passed out. I mean, he's in a room full of high-level brass. The general of the Pentagon was there. And I'm standing in the back, and I'm like, oh no. Because by then, he'd been, you talk about death by PowerPoint. This was 4 hours in by that time that he fell asleep. 4 hours in. And they're sitting there in the dark because they turned the lights off. So of course he's gonna fall asleep. And they're going over, and the general's going over stuff that is well above our pay grade. I was able to at least sit out, And I was like, man, at least I don't have to go back in there. And then they called me in there, and I was like, crap. But I went on in there. But anyway, yeah, it says here if she didn't eat carbs, the symptoms weren't so bad. So the antibiotics open the door for it, and it still kicks in even when she doesn't eat. Check this out. She had fallen because of she fell because of the drowsiness, slurred speech, and alcohol could be smelled on her breath. There's no way, if you've got this condition, there's no way that you're going to convince a police officer that you didn't have a drink. I could, if God forbid it happens to me, I couldn't even blame the officer. I couldn't blame him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, they got no way of knowing. This is not the kind of thing that happens to people generally. I'm not saying it doesn't
right.
happen. I'm just saying it's so rare that how often are you going to pull somebody over who hasn't had a drink but is basically their guts is a still?
Yeah.
Like how often is that going to come up? So yeah, of course they're going to be like, no, you're lying to us because that's absurd.
Yeah.
Because it is.
Yeah. Of course. So, but yeah, she was taking antifungal therapy. So it was a fungus that was fermenting, and it was in her stomach. Finished the therapy, and now she's following a very low carb diet after suffering a relapse. This is crazy. I mean, I feel so bad for her. Oh well, it ain't us.
Yeah.
If
So
you do a lot of
that's true of a lot of different things. Yes, with marijuana, yeah, it stays in your fat cells and all that. If you do a lot of LSD, it tends to get stored in your joints, right? Or at least the strychnine does, and your joints and your hair follicles. That's why some places will, when they do a drug test, they insist on a hair follicle test because certain things will show up there that won't show up in other tests, like LSD, for example. Not that I would know that from experience or anything.
All right, next one. So we got this next one, right? And then I have to load up the others. Now, what is this about? What is this about, everybody? What this is about a guy, world-breaking fossilized feces collector opens museum, prehistoric time capsules.
I'm not okay with this.
This guy collects fossilized as as us his name, as Johnny Depp would say, he collects fossilized fuzzies. Aaron. Yeah, it's the shittiest museum in the world. George Franson, who holds the Guinness World Record for the largest collection of fossilized feces, opened a museum of his findings in Williams, Arizona. Oh, the aptly named Puseum houses thousands of pieces of coprolite, the scientific name for fossilized feces, including one of the largest prehistoric poo specimens.
Yep.
He opened the Puseum in 2014 as an online resource while donating pieces of his exhibit to museums across the U.S. Frenson said the enthusiastic response to the early stages of the Puseum motivated him to open the physical location and many to address the glaring absence of coprolite representation in natural history museums. Oh man! Oh, you can't make this up. Yeah. So there's a store. It's a free museum. You have a $1 for fossilized. Oh no, yeah. #1 for fossilized. Number 2, largest collection, free museum, dinosaur gift shop, world's largest coprolite. Okay, and it's in Arizona. Arizona's fossilized pool museum is free for all to view. How are you paying for it? That's that. Look.
Yep. That looks like shit, all right.
This realization ignited my resolve to establish a permanent home for the collection, allowing my vision for the Puseum to be fully realized and appreciated by all. Franson told the Guinness World Records. He holds the world record for the largest coprolite collection since 2015 with 1,277 specimens. Now his loot stands at over 8,000 fossils, including that of dinosaurs and a renowned 27-inch sample of carnivore coprolite dubbed Barnum. Franson began hunting for coprolite when he was a teenager after he saw a piece in a science shop. He hopes the museum encourages attendees to become more interested in the prehistoric world. That might be some corn right there. I don't know, the prehistoric corn. Anyway,
no, prehistoric corn wasn't that big. We made it.
We
big
don't know
with
that.
genetic engineering.
Well, we don't know that. Shoot.
Also, prehistoric corn was rock hard to begin with.
Well, you forgetting that a dinosaur ate this thing, so I mean, maybe it's his body could absorb it. Instantly, I found it both hilarious and fascinating. He said, adding the coprolite is a prehistoric time capsule into the diets and lives of our ancestors. The 45-year-old quit his job in healthcare to pursue his dream of a fossilized pool museum early this year. How are you making any money to survive, dude, if you quit your job?
Cavitano's asking, do not if they have fudge and brownies at the gift shop.
Well, this photo says maybe. That's nasty. The Puseum is free for all because Franson believes that financial constraints should never hinder anyone from experiencing the wonders of the world, even if they're horrified by the prospect at first. Initially, many people react with a yuck face or laughter when they first hear about Puseum. And then he said, but people leave the one-of-a-kind experience fascinated by the ancient substance. Not me, buddy.
No. I mean, you hear about it because obviously, animals that big would have to shit, right? But it's like it's like Suka's saying here. What happens like in the future, right? Say you take a crap in the woods and then millions of years later some other society digs it up and sticks it in a museum. like it's just shit. And it's
Yeah,
fossilized shit at that, which means it's really not even shit, because shit is essentially an organic thing which would decay over time. So this would be like if you shit in a tar pit, right? Well, even a tar pit would probably be preserved, but you take shit, fossilization happens. You're not even left with the actual organic matter. You're just left with a kind of a stone shell, a fragile stone shell. I mean, same thing happens with the bones and shit. Those aren't really dinosaur bones. Those are castings made by the earth itself, because the actual organic matter is long fucking gone. It's turned to oil.
right.
So I don't know. It's not even really poo. It's just like poo impressions.
It's poo and precious. So are you saying that you're actively derailing this man's dream?
I mean, no, I'm gonna let him do what he's gonna do. I just think it's silly. Like, there cannot be that many people interested in dinosaur shit to patronize this place. There can't be.
I'm not sure
It's
that
not that
it's all.
interesting a subject.
I'm not sure that it's all dinosaur crap though. If that makes any
Well, it
sense.
might not be. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure some of it probably belonged to other species, and you got it from several different epochs and stuff, I guess. But I just as soon look at the other fossils, I guess. The poop is not. It's not my thing. Yes, Aaron Laura, I am a dream killer. It's what I do. I pop bubbles. If you got a parade, I'm gonna fucking rain on it.
And he's very good at that. Believe
One
me
of
when
my
I say
brothers,
this.
yeah, one of my brothers has said to me, I can't tell you how many different times, he'll say, "Hey, I want to do this thing or this thing or this thing." I'll start poking holes in it because I'm a dick, and he'll be like, "Quit popping my bubble."
Just a few more minutes. I'm just waiting for because some of these have videos, and you know how they like to how the news site likes to burn through, makes you watch commercials and crap. Okay, good. So let's see. 1, 2, 3,
Don't
4.
poop on my leg until it's raining.
I think we've got them all. Yep. Let's see. So, next one. Here we go. Following the disgusting trend, and you notice I didn't give any kind of preparatory warning, but now I have to, because these next 4 articles, ladies and gentlemen, the rest of this show is definitely 18 and over because of some of the topics. If you're under 18, switch off. If you're over 18, don't blame me, blame Samuel.
Hey, first of all, if you're under 18, you shouldn't be up this late and watching this shit in the first place.
Well, it's Friday. It's Friday, Craig. And if
I don't
if
care.
they're on the East Coast, it's 9:38. Guarantee them kids are up.
Yeah, I don't care.
And school's
I need to
out.
go to bed. That's no reason to slack on the discipline. That's all I'm saying.
Look at that. See that? New sexually transmitted fungal infection detected in New York City.
Yeah, this was something we were going to bring up tomorrow too. Because this is monkeypox 2.0. You know that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, there's a few things that popped up in Ohio, popped up in New York. There's another one. There's another news article. Apparently, New Yorkers are getting into having threesomes now, and that article came out right after this one did, like an hour later, and I was like, and you guys wonder why you're catching crap like this.
Well, I mean, this. Imagine for a moment that something like this crops up within fucking days of people, running out into the streets and grinding on each other in skimpy leather outfits. Right? I mean, the timing is pretty suspicious. That's all I'm saying.
Well, also look what you got. The place is flooded with illegals from various countries. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I,
that whole
I will say that picture though looks kind of like ringworm, which is also a fungal infection, but it's not
yes.
a new disease by any stretch.
So Suka just sent me something, Old Dutch ketchup. Now you can, oh no, Suka, you can have that. Nasty with them chips. Anyway, let's see what they have to say here. Of course, we hit a commercial, Sam. Of course we did.
Yeah. Back in Sam's day, 18 years. How old do you think I am?
1 million.
Yeah, it does though. That looked like ringworm to me.
Yeah.
Which you can catch from animals, just being around animals that carry the fungal parasite. So, it's also easily curable. It's not life threatening in any way. So that's why you don't. But ringworm is one of the big reasons why you don't just buy a kitten out of a box while they're being sold on the side of the street.
Yep.
You know?
Oh yeah, because they will pass it to you. No, Suka, I will knock it and I will not try it. Tentacle beasts are ageless. Well, you are a bit of a cosmic boogeyman. Anyway, first case of the new sexually transmitted infection detected in New York City. Okay. Health experts are warning of new and highly contagious fungal strains after a New York City man developed a STD form of ringworm in the first reported case in the U.S.
Yeah, it's just ringworm. I bet that there's tacking sexually transmitted onto it.
Yeah.
I bet that this is one of those things that you can get from pretty much any kind of contact, because that's how ringworm works.
That's how it works. Yeah, trichophyton minta type whatever is on the rise in Europe, especially in men who have sex with men. Suka called it.
I called it. Days ago, I saw this. I was like, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna find out that it's from a bunch of dudes banging dudes, and then somebody's gonna find out that some kids have gotten it, and they're gonna bury this just like they did monkeypox."
Yep.
Because how else would those kids have gotten it? That's all I'm saying.
The unidentified New Yorker who became infected reported a rash on his penis, buttocks, and limbs. So he was giving and receiving, and of course he was grabbing.
Well, it does say limbs. It doesn't specify arms or legs, though.
I'm assuming limbs. I mean, I'm assuming arms.
The foot job is a thing.
Ugh. From a dude?
And you know what? Feet are notorious for transmitting fungus. Just saying.
Yeah. After having sex with men while traveling to England, Greece, and California. So this dude was, this guy basically was in three different countries having sex. Wow. And he brought that mess back.
He probably left a trail of it behind him. Suka asked, "How do you cure ringworm?" You get a series of antifungals and antibiotics. It's just a regimen.
And guess
deal with until it goes away.
And guess what, Suka? And while you're on that stuff, you're gonna end up getting drunk from eating from carbohydrates, and then you're gonna get pulled over, like that lady did.
Yeah, but if you're real lucky, it'll be that cop from the Village People.
Yeah. It seems that it responds to standard antifungal therapies, but could take months to clear up.
Yeah. This means no butt sex for you.
Thankfully.
Yeah. But, it's ringworm is annoying, and it's inconveniencing, and it's pretty stupidly contagious, but it's not life-threatening in any way. I mean, unless like a newborn infant with but born with a shit immune system gets it, they're probably nothing lethal or permanently damaging is going to happen, provided the treatment is there. So, this is just a new form of that. And this is probably just a more virulently aggressive version of the same thing,
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, no, what's going to happen is a bunch of guys are going to get it and they're going to go around saying, oh, well, yeah, this is spreading all over the place. And then it's going to come out that no, it's spreading among certain demographics who exhibit certain practices, like say
Right.
hanging out
Like
in Russian
monkeypox.
bathhouses. Yeah.
Yeah, like
And then
monkeypox, and then they're gonna
you,
bury
you,
it.
and then you're going to find out that a couple of kids and maybe an animal came down with it, just like the monkeypox thing. And yeah, then you're never going to see it in the news again.
Right. Now, I'm gonna share this now. What happened to this guy? Post-surgery patient's colon falls out of his body following a forceful sneeze.
What, the whole thing? Like he went full pink sock? That poor bastard.
Florida man's colon
That's like the worst
falls out
kind
of
of
his.
prolapse.
Yeah, so Florida man's colon falls out of his body following forceful sneeze.
That's why you don't
Aaron.
strain too hard, man.
He was at a diner in Florida. A 63-year-old man was enjoying breakfast with his wife, and when a sneeze followed by coughing caused a wet sensation and pain in his lower abdomen. He quickly noticed several loops of pink bowel protruding from a recent surgical wound and called an ambulance.
God, this reminds me of a joke. I'm an evil person.
The unlucky diner had just undergone surgery to treat prostate cancer, and miraculously, doctors were able to stitch him back up. Talk about a gut busting story.
They weren't kidding when they called that breakfast the Big 12, huh?
Whew. That's
You want me to
sad.
say that? Aaron wants me to tell the joke. All right. Okay, so this dude, right? He works in a factory, kind of a factory floor sort of area. He gets to work every morning. Every morning he gets to work, and the first thing he does when he's at work is he goes and he takes a shit, and he's in there for 20, 30 minutes every morning on the clock, right? And his fellow coworkers are starting to get kind of pissed about this whole thing. They're not happy about it because he's wasting their time and his and the bosses and all that stuff. So one day, one of his coworkers go down to the local butcher shop because they're gonna scare him. So they get some cast off, some guts and such, and they go and they put it in the toilet bowl. And that morning, dude comes in, right? First thing he does, heads to the bathroom, closes that door. They don't hear from him for 20, 30 minutes, and then they hear the most gut-wrenching, blood-curdling scream ever, right? It just it rings out across the factory floor and chills them all to the bone. Another 2 hours goes by after that, dead silent. The man comes out. So they rush up to him. They're like, dude, are you okay? What happened in there? We heard you scream. What happened? He says, man, I don't know what I ate, but it shit all my guts out. But with the help of God and these two fingers, I put them all back in. That's a joke. He shoved all of the butcher guts up his ass with his fingers. I didn't say it was a good joke.
Wow. That's a. I guess it worked.
Hey, Aaron, you asked for that. I'm just saying.
Oh wow. Okay, so They have an outline of the guy's. That looks like he's giving somebody like he's pointing.
It looks like the Boy Scouts have tied a knot in him.
They had to get that badge. You got to get the pink bowel badge. Illustration of the abdominal examination after a man was presented with the exposed bowel, was placed back in his abdomen before he was stitched up. He has since made a full recovery. So he must have been out doing too much too soon. They closed the ab. I mean, but dang, a sneeze and that happened. I mean,
I could see that. I could see that. You know, sneezes can be surprisingly powerful. You know, the theory is that when you sneeze, it actually can your heart's like skips a beat for a second.
Yeah, it does.
It does, and it throws out your back, and it's the most painful thing you can ever endure.
Naomi, you just scared the hell out of me. I didn't even know she was. I'm like,
good to see it.
I'm looking at the outline. Hey, it's smooth, the DJ. But I'm looking over, all of a sudden I hear, yeah, it does. I'm about jumped out of my chair. I'm like,
oh, sorry, Larry.
You're just in time, Naomi.
Oh no, in time for what? I'm scared.
You actually missed the worst stuff.
Yeah, you did. This guy collects. He opened up a store. He's collected over 1,000 pieces of fossilized poop.
Ew.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's been sterile for millions of years.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that it's been sterile for millions of years. It's like, why would you want to collect that? Is there some sort of value to it?
That was my question.
He needed a hobby.
I mean, when I worked at the golf course I worked at, my hobby was wrangling rattlesnakes, and I got $600 for each live rattlesnake I caught.
Check the private chat, Sam.
I did.
Oh, okay. Smooth, come on up. But Naomi. So this guy's story, he was out with his wife. This isn't him, but he was out with his wife. He had just had surgery for colon cancer. He's out with his wife. He's having breakfast. Yeah, you Smooth. He was out with his wife. He's having breakfast.
Who? Okay, go ahead.
And they said he sneezed real hard and then he coughed real hard, and his colon popped out of his stomach.
I mean, I know this is going to be a little much. Man, where's Gal? I wish Gal was here because she would join. And what I'm about to tell you guys, when women sneeze and we're on that time of the month, everything comes out. So yes, I believe that.
Oh,
welcome to the show, Smooth.
Hi.
Welcome. Hi.
We're talking extreme bowel movements.
There's nothing unusual. I'm a nurse, so I'm kind of used to that kind of stuff.
That's true. He is a nurse, so ask him any medical questions. He might answer.
Dude, the format just changed. Well, welcome, Smooth. Now I'm interested because trust me, because the next story was about to piss everybody off. Now I will show this one though. I will show this one though.
Everybody else. Okay.
So that we can get
before that, real quick. Being a nurse, I have to ask you from a practical standpoint: is it possible to sneeze your butthole inside out like that?
Not that I know of. No.
Why are you weird, Sam?
Yeah, why are you weird, man?
It is what I
don't think that's possible, to be honest. That would be news to me.
Yeah, that's kind of thinking. It's like he'd already have to have been prolapsed for that to be a thing, right?
I mean, I guess, but I mean, does that even count? Because if he prolapses, is it technically kind of already out? I mean, it's
maybe he was turtling and then he went out and then he went full pink sock.
Oh my gosh, Sam.
Sorry, look, I haven't slept in like 3 days, so
we have a guest here, our first time guest on Abyssal Musings, And here you
Welcome to
are,
the
like
show.
this kid.
I've
Sorry.
heard weirder things. Know me, trust me. I've
Well,
heard weirder things.
What's
to
the
be
weirdest
honest,
that you've
though,
heard?
to be honest, though, Smooth, he's usually, I mean, he usually is a bit more reserved. I'm
I
usually the
mean,
one
if I
that,
wouldn't sleep for 3 days, I would probably be the same. So it's okay.
yeah. Well, or you could be this lady, woman from town called Surprise, says she didn't know she was pregnant until she was in labor.
I've heard
I have
multiple
a
of
similar
those.
story to that. I have a similar story to that.
Really?
I
Okay.
used to have a friend in an inner circle. Well, she's not from my extended friend circle, I should say. And
She got
she
kicked
always went
out.
out partying with us, and then like 5 months into her pregnancy, she actually realized she was pregnant, and she was still out drinking. Like, how do you not notice that? That's like depressing, honestly.
That is concerning.
Yep.
That's very concerning.
I mean, I had a coworker at the job that I had for years, and she's been trying to get pregnant for the longest time, but she just had a lot of complications. So she would smoke and drink. And I was on my way on a business trip, and she sent me a picture if it's an ultrasound. I was like, "You and I went drinking 3 nights ago." She's like, "I know, now." So yeah, and then baby's super healthy, nothing wrong with the baby. She caught it just in time before, she would get the alcohol, whatever syndrome that babies have when pregnant mothers drink.
Fetal alcohol syndrome, wasn't it?
That one, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Welcome,
Yep.
Nurse Smoo.
Thank you.
You know,
of someone doing this before. Well, yeah, it does happen. But then again, what are the odds of not knowing that? That's
right.
like,
I think everybody's heard a story of somebody who, like, they knew someone who heard about someone who did something like that. Like it's a common story to hear, but you never actually know a person who's gone through that.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, of course, I'm not a woman. Of course, I'm not.
Are you sure, Larry? Are you sure about that?
It's 2024.
I am 100% sure. But I have to wonder at some point,
big black feminine penis.
Well, at some point, the woman that when a woman gets pregnant, her monthly flow stops. And for this lady in particular to say that she didn't know she was pregnant until she was in labor, so the fact that you're not bleeding anymore and all, I'm pretty.
Should be a telltale sign.
I would cut my head off if I did not get that every month. I would lose my mind. Not because like I get around, but it's more of like, what's wrong with me? I'm actually dying.
You would freak out, like literally.
Well, I mean, I don't blame you. I mean, you figure it's something that's been a part of your life for so long, and then all of a sudden you're not doing it. And just watching my wife in particular, it lasted, like, I thought once, a little bit after she had our kids, it would start back up, but it didn't. She didn't start bleeding again until she stopped breastfeeding.
That can be a thing too, though. Like that happened with my ex-wife when we had our youngest. She didn't start her period up again, I think, for like 6-7 months after she gave. So.
Wow. Dang. Well, women bodies are weird. I'm pretty weird.
But amazing. But yeah, Smooth. Thanks for coming on. I know it was kind of impromptu.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I know it was impromptu, but that's how we like to do things here. I
mean, I'll be honest, I'm awake anyway, so I'm actually kind of glad to be hanging out with people and actually having a conversation.
No, fair enough.
Good. And for those of you that may or may not know Smooth, I mean, he's a great guy. We've gotten to know each other in Nomi streams. So Nomi is a gamer now. If you guys don't know, she has a kick channel. She's been killing it on there. Her and Dreaming Tabitha, they've been, I call them, like, of course they're, I call them the Batgirl and She-Ra of Kick. Because I can't call them Batman and Robin because they're not men, and I don't want to get beat up.
I mean, you can still do that. Who would be Batman though? I would be Batman. Tabitha can just
Batman.
Suck it.
I don't know. Tabitha's more intimidating to me. I don't know what it is.
Really?
She comes off as more.
Is it the German in her, Larry? Is it the German in her?
Um, maybe. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. But it's not in a bad way. It's just I just get more of the vibe of, I'm nice, but don't F with me. No, me, you just get the vibe that you're really nice, and then somebody pushes you to that point. It's like, oh crap, okay, so she she will fight.
I will throw hands.
Right.
Hmm.
But yeah, like I said, welcome. And I didn't know you
Thank
were a nurse, man. I can only imagine. And I'm tempted to ask you about the stories, but I'm pretty sure there's probably some that you don't want to revisit.
What's that?
I don't know. You tell me. I mean, like I said, of
Mm.
all the stories you've probably got, I mean, I've definitely seen some things. Serving in the military, I've seen some things that I never want. If I could unsee them, I'd unsee them in a second.
Well,
I
I'd
mean,
be
my
curious
career
actually.
started as a nurse for elderly, so it was just
Oh.
generally geriatrics and all that stuff at first. But I actually changed field into ophthalmology for like eye stuff,
Mm.
and
Mm.
the stuff that you see there, dude, it's honestly unreal what kind of dumb stuff people do with their eyes, man. It's honestly
I
baffling.
suppose we should ask beforehand that you're in Germany, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And the only reason I even bring that up, I'm not trying to dox or anything, is like we've got this thing in the United States called HIPAA laws. I don't know if you have an equivalent kind of thing over there where if you are, if you have like information about somebody's medical stuff, it's considered private information and it's actually against the law to share that. So I didn't want to get you in trouble or anything. I don't know if Germany's got laws like that.
Well, I'm not saying names, so it's actually okay. So I'm not too worried about that. So it's okay.
Okay, I just wanted to check first because, like over
Yep,
here, yeah,
yep.
if you say anything that anybody could potentially, possibly use like internet autism to track somebody down with, like they will throw your ass in jail and there's a fine.
I'm keeping things deliberately vague for the most part, so it's probably
Good.
for a good reason.
Less.
Yeah, I mean, I also worked in an ICU for like 9 months before I actually started becoming a proper nurse because I had to do civil service for the German military because I either would have served like proper military or like civil service, and I did the civil part, and that was pretty interesting and eye-opening for me because I encountered some let's just say sad fates there as well, especially when it comes to like accidents and all that stuff, or like attempts of let's just call it self-deletion.
Right.
It has been that was mildly depressing, so I'm actually kind of glad that I'm not in that field anymore, like ICU wise, because I don't envy any nurse that works in an ICU. Honestly, that's like one of the toughest jobs you can work at in the medical field.
Oh, yeah.
Like desperately scrambling for people to keep them alive and everything. It's honestly not a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
But I keep stressing this every single time. That goes even for the American nurses. If you have a very stressful job, make sure you actually have someone to talk to about this, because let's be real here. Most of the time, the hospitals don't give an F about your mental health. And if you're not feeling well and you constantly take things home with you, it does take a toll on you eventually, and you tend to burn out very quickly if you do that too often.
Yeah, it's true here too. During when the whole pandemic thing happened, I was employed at a hospital in South Dakota at the time, and
Right.
what I was actually doing there, I wasn't a nurse. I was one of the housekeeping crew, but specifically, my job was to clean and sterilize the ORs. Right, the operating theaters, and so I got to see all kinds of fun stuff. And I was exposed to literally everything. It's like when the virus of unspecified origin made its debut and everybody's freaking out, I was like, you do realize that there's necrotizing fasciitis in the next room, right? I ain't scared.
I mean, I'll say one thing that I'm actually was grateful for during the pandemic was actually that I was able to work and go out. That was the only thing that was actually quite grateful for with this whole shebang, because a lot of things have been greatly exaggerated in my opinion, but I'm just going to keep it vague just for the sake of YouTube because I don't want to get you in trouble. But we did a whole kerfuffle for nothing, basically.
Right.
Oh, I agree. 100%.
I agree.
We had I was one of about half of the hospital staff that got laid off during the course of that because they didn't want too many eyes on the fact that the government was paying them to say the ICU was full when all their beds were empty.
Yep.
They're returning people
And
away
you
at
have
the
these freaking
emergency
TikTok
room.
nurses doing dumb
Yeah.
videos as well that didn't help their case.
Oh yeah,
I
whole thing
think
was
the
horseshit.
TikTok nurses really hurt the profession a little bit too when it comes to credibility.
It absolutely did. Absolutely did. Yeah. That and the fact that look, and I've said this before too on other streams, but I know for a fact that there are good doctors out there. There are genuinely
100%,
good men and women who want to heal people, who want to help people. I know for a fact they exist. The problem with that is that I can't tell the difference just by looking, right?
Yep.
So I have to assume that if one of them is bad, they all are. I can't trust any of them.
To be fair, there's a lot of
And I
bad
know there
actors in that field, so I don't blame you for feeling that way.
Well, and that's kind of what I'm getting at is there were a number of there were doctors who were saying and doing things that were not good for their patients because of the payday, because maybe they were blackmailed. There were a whole bunch of reasons that they might have been doing that stuff. But the fact is if you can't trust them and they look like pretty much every other professional in the field, right? Then how can you ever really trust any of them again? Because you don't know.
Yep. Yeah, the medical system has to prove itself to be actually worthy of the people's trust now again, because like I said, there has been a lot of dumb stuff that has happened in the last 3 to 4 years that has undermined the trust of the public. I don't blame people for actually not trusting the medical system anymore, because why would you after this whole shebang, right? And also the narrative that the mainstream media has been pulling up all the time with, there's been people dropping left and right like flies, even though that was like footage from Italy, for example, but they said it was in New York. CNN did that, just so you know. But
yeah, they did.
And I think
and anybody that pointed that out found themselves kicked off of YouTube real quick,
very quickly. But it has been proven right, so it is sad, honestly, that we had to go through this whole ordeal, and we're still not really recovering from it. Because now that we got out of that, we still have something else going on. It's like the list of crap that could happen on the bingo card just keeps getting like stricken off like one by one. It is getting insane, honestly.
Let me ask your opinion on this then. So this is slightly outside of that, but you know how often antibiotics are prescribed for just about everything, right?
Far too often, you ask me.
Yeah. So we're getting to a point now where we're having to use stronger and stronger antibiotics because the original stuff, penicillin, does not work anymore. People have developed allergies to it. Sometimes it's just completely ineffective. And there is going to come a point where we're going to run out of effective antibiotics, period. At that point, I think we're going to be back in the dark ages as far as medical mortality rates go.
Yeah, I mean, the immune system of people is generally not the greatest, because especially with like younger generations now, especially around the 2000s, and so because a lot of people shelter themselves at home too much, they don't go outside, get like experience other places, or expose themselves to like a lot of people, like going out in public, or even play in dirt as a kid, or like eat dirt or stuff like that. And you can tell because a lot of people develop more and more allergies and intolerances that normally wouldn't be a thing, and
some of which hadn't been a thing until about 30 years ago.
Yep. And it's getting more and more, and it's actually slightly concerning.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what my concern with the antibiotics thing is we've become reliant as a people on an external thing that won't always be there. And our immune systems are not up to taking care of this stuff themselves anymore.
Yep. I mean, I'm exposed to sick people constantly, so my immune system is actually quite good in that regard.
Oh yeah.
But I always feel like that we prescribe antibiotics far too quickly for literally everything.
Mhm.
When you have natural things that could actually help you as well, but we underestimate that. And yeah,
Indeed.
it's like Suka says, we used to play outside and they have no internet, and that's the thing. A lot of people would rather stay inside, browse their phones, or go stay on the computer or what have you, instead of actually like experience the outside world. Or, I mean, God forbid, be kids. You know, I feel like a lot of parents just shove their education and their parenting off to devices instead of actually you're spending time with their kids outside and actually experiencing something, showing them like, hey, it's actually okay to be outside and get dirty, or like simple things like just the simple childish wonder that you used to have, like go outside, touching grass, or I don't know, whip like a stick around that you find in the woods, pretending it's a
Oh, yeah,
sword or
that's the
something like
best.
that. You know, that kind of stuff. And it's sad that it has come to this point that we're just, I would say, even devolve as a species and
Sure.
unlearn a lot of things that we used to think are normal. You know.
Sure,
Mhm.
I'd agree with that. Yeah. I think we're getting to a
Well,
point now,
and
like the current generations coming up have not been exposed to the world at large, and I don't mean outside of like the internet. I mean literally outside of their house, like you're
Yeah.
saying. You know, so my generation, we used to get kicked out by our parents the second we came home from school until it was time for bed. Right? They're like, go
I mean,
play in the neighborhood or whatever.
what?
We'd be out getting tetanus, eating dirt, you know, falling out of trees
Mhm.
and breaking legs and shit, and we were as far as our immune systems go anyway, we were made the stronger for it. Whereas these kids
Right.
now have been entirely too sheltered. They're inside all the time. They're in the same biome constantly, and they're not exposed to anything. And so when it does hit them, it hits them twice as hard.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
You know,
I
because
don't mind being at home. I don't mind being a homebody every once in a while. That's okay. But the difference is, I still go outside, you know, and see the world instead of just being stuck in these four walls and do nothing. You know, that's like not going outside at all for weeks on end.
even just being in the sun
And
is good for you to a certain
yeah,
extent.
it's very important. We need vitamin
You
D.
know,
It's
good
actually
for
a booster,
good for
especially
everybody else,
in the
not for
winter.
me.
I had to
Yeah.
learn that the hard way. I actually suffer from winter depressions because, I mean, the weather here is a little bit different compared to the US, and I learned that the hard way when I went to Texas last year. But
that's where I'm at now.
you know what? I got a healthy dose of vitamin D when I was in Texas. Let me tell you that. And that
Oh, yeah.
really helped me with my winter depression in the end, because the problem with winter is, as you know, it gets dark rather quickly and is relatively long as well, at least
Mhm.
here. And the problem is, you don't get enough sun because there's mostly clouds in the sky and everything. And yeah, it is. I can definitely tell in the winter months that my mood is significantly different compared to like in the warmer months, right?
Mhm.
So that's why I have this tendency of actually just going outside and actually get some sun, because it is very important for your own mental health, and it really improves your mood if you actually go outside every once in a while. You know, instead of just
Again,
being
for
here.
everybody but me.
No, that's fair.
Sam
Give me-
Sam turns red.
Oh,
Redder
no,
than me.
I call it the
green.
hate ball because it hates me.
Well,
I
but
mean,
you,
I said this before. When I was in Texas, I actually gained like 3 layers of tan that I didn't know I even have. I was like, that's insane.
Yeah, I could do that
I'm
too,
pretty
but it's got
pale,
to
you
burn
know?
off like the first 6 layers. So
That's fair. Yeah, that's very fair.
no, I mean, Sam has it bad, but he doesn't get it as bad as Amira. I mean, we joke around about her being a vampire, but it actually being out in the sun it has nothing but adverse effects for her. Like, it's messing with her
I mean,
eyesight. It messes with her mood. You know, it's painful for her to be outside in the sun.
yeah, and
I'm,
the thing is, don't underestimate that sun allergy is a thing as well,
Mhm.
because that a lot of people underestimate that's a thing too, and that overexposure to certain UV lights can actually cause it to get worse. I'm not saying like don't go outside or anything, but if you know about this condition, then you can actually, try and alleviate it a little bit. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had because I'm in a hot place right now, but
Mhm.
my body handles heat very well. But I
Mhm.
was walking around, it was 103 where I am today, and I was walking around with a sweater on, and people were just looking at me like, "How are you?" Because inside,
Hundred-
at my desk, they're blasting the air conditioning, so I'm like, "Man, I'm freezing," And I was
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
"Hmm?"
I don't blame you one bit for wearing a hoodie then, because I would probably do the same if I were in an office with air conditioning all day. I would probably do the same, and people would probably look at me funny, like, "What the heck's wrong with you?" You know?
Well, yeah,
But
I mean, but I mean, they understood because shoot, they were putting them on. But when I went outside, people outside were looking at me like, "Aren't you hot?" And I was like, "Nope," because
mm,
it has to hit around 120 before my body starts reacting in adverse, where it's like, okay, you need to go inside, you need to do something because cause you can't be out here, you're killing me.
mm,
But and I don't know what it is about my body, but it just tends to react so much better when I'm around in the sun. I mean, it's just
mm,
when I'm just out, I've got more energy. I'm doing so much
right.
stuff that I'm getting tired when I least expect it because I've been running around. So but I love it.
Yeah. Andy in your chat is pointing out something funny there. The park under Edinburgh Castle used to be the most was filled with pale Scots. And it's kind of funny because Scottish people barely see any sun. It is fucking true. Like the Scottish people are pretty screwed when it comes to sunshine, because even in the nicest of times, even in summer, there's mostly clouds in the sky. I can confirm this because my dad's Scottish, and I'm pretty frequently traveling to Scotland to see family there. But man, it's a very depressing place to live at, even when you're used to it.
I've always wanted to go to Europe. I just never made my way there, but I wanted to go to Germany. I wanted to,
Yep.
go to Scotland, Ireland. I almost was able to go to Ireland, and I couldn't. And it was for my undergrad, and it was
Mhm.
a study abroad for the summer, for English. And
Yeah.
I wanted to go there so bad because they were going to do, Game of Thrones was still going on, and so they were going to do the tour because that's where it's filmed at. And I was so pissed I couldn't go. I tried to do a fundraiser, like me and this girl. We both did a fundraiser, and we both needed
Mm.
$2,500 a piece. And people were like, they were sharing, my GoFundMe, but not one person donated $1. Do you know that girl had that 20? She exceeded her $2,500 in less than an hour.
Damn. I mean,
But somebody pointed this out to me, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not. And it was like,
right.
people are more apt to help a woman in need than a man. When they look at us, it's like, well, why can't you just go out and work and get the money, yourself?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the general attitude, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
from what you can tell, well, most of the time at least.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, why are you so financially unstable? That's the kind of thing that I keep hearing whenever that happens. But having put up like fundraisers myself, I usually like ask the people beforehand if it's actually cool with them or not, because sometimes it's for guys, sometimes it's for chicks.
Mm.
I think it's important to talk to the person beforehand, unless it's like a surprise or something. But I've done like fundraisers for someone who actually lost their job at like an Amazon warehouse, for example, because he was involved in an accident with a forklift truck.
Oh,
And yeah, they actually changed the security measures like a year and a half after this incident, because my idea was to give him a little bit support for his legal fees, and that's why I did that. And I managed to actually raise like a 4-figure sum for him, and it actually helped him a little bit.
yeah.
But it took some time to actually get there. It was like over a year, I think, until we actually got the funds that he needed. But I didn't like stress it too much whenever I actually posted the links, for example, because people kept saying like, yeah, but he's a guy, he had an accident at the warehouse, that's his own freaking fault. It's like, well, no, if you know the circumstances that I even explained in the in the campaign, then you would know that was not the case. But
Yeah, and then also in Germany, I don't know. Do you guys have like OSHA laws? I don't even know if you know what OSHA laws here.
OSHA laws are like the security kind of things, right?
Like safety,
occupational
Safeguards.
safety.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
hazard.
safety.
Yeah, we have those. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're a bit more lax, though. I should say. They're not like as bad as in the UK, for example, with the helmet and everything. You know.
So Andy says, a smooth good thing about nursing is available transfers. Hope you get a job in Hawaii.
I mean, I think a lot of people who follow me around know by now that my dream is to actually move to the States at some point, because I'm getting fed up living here, because it keeps getting worse here. And I honestly, I really enjoy my stay in America, and I just want to make sure that I can actually like work my job there. If that's not a possibility, I will gladly change my job. But
I can tell you right now,
Right.
in Texas, one of the major fields to get into here for job security is healthcare.
100%, yeah, because they're future proof for the most part. I mean, let's face it, we'll never run out of sick people. But that's just a matter of fact.
Business is booming here.
Yeah, there's a certain rich guy that's trying to see to it that people stay sick or worse. I'm not going to say his name, but I have my suspicions. I mean, certain comments that he made 5 years before a certain sickness happened. But yeah, man. I mean, when you get out here, at least on my end, whatever information I can give for you, see how you can go about it. But yeah, I mean, you're.
Yeah, like I said, I'm willing to work, and that's the thing, because I don't want to, be a burden to the American taxpayer too much. So I actually want to contribute in that way, and that's why it's important for me to actually inform myself and actually like reach out to the people there, so I can actually get some ideas of how it actually works with my degree and with everything, because chances are I might have to do some basic training to actually get the confirmation that I can actually do this. So, but that's the beauty of it. I mean, I was raised bilingual, as you can tell, because for a German, my English is actually not too bad. And I'm just thank you. And I'm just glad that I can do this, and I love helping people. That's the main drive why I actually did this job. I mean, some people could say I have helpless syndrome, maybe, yeah, but at the end of the day, I want to give people a little bit of hope still, despite like the world not being exactly the greatest place at the moment. But it's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah, hey, wear that badge with pride, because I think that's something that you and I have in common.
It's hard to maintain it, Larry. Let's be real here. It's very hard to maintain that badge.
And I learned a long time ago. I was like, you want to help people, but there's
absolutely
one thing I learned is there's some people that you just can't help, and sometimes stepping in will not only did I make things worse, but those individuals actually turned on me. You know what I mean? So I was helping somebody, and all of a sudden I was the bad guy. And it wasn't just that person saying it, was other people who didn't know everything that was going on. And the person that could have vindicated me was lying through their teeth, because they were covering up stuff. And so
that's so weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Well, I think she let's just say that she was assaulted by someone that she and I both knew, and I saved her. And she had a boyfriend who wasn't there that night, and so she didn't want him to find out, because apparently that wasn't the first time that happened. And I realized real quick that the first time it happened to her, he blamed her, and he was screaming at her, and so she was trying to cover stuff up. And lo and behold, I went from being her savior to her scapegoat, and her attacker then decided that I was public enemy number one, and decided to attack me a month later, which which didn't work. But I just learned in general, as much as I want to help people, some people you gotta stay out of it.
You just got to learn that not everybody wants help. That's the general idea. I mean, I'm terrible at accepting help myself. I can openly admit that I am terrible at that. I always feel bad when people offer me help because I feel like I'm a burden to people. It is just a thing that I do. I don't know. It's just in my nature because I used to get bullied a lot when I was in school. And I think it's also due to the fact that a lot of adults, when I was a teenager, used to talk a lot of shit towards me. And that's why my sense of self-worth was a little bit on the lower side, It's gotten better throughout the years, especially since I started working in the medical field. I'm getting more out of my own comfort as well in shell, and I'm a lot less shy than I used to be. And it does actually help, like, talking with people like on this panel here, because it makes me more aware of this, and also helps me spread a message of how you can actually improve on that, And like I said, being exposed to people at work on a regular basis does help, getting your conversation skills up as well. And I used to be I had this lone wolf mentality for a long time because, it's just, I just felt like nobody was like looking out for me or cared for me enough, It's kind of sad thinking about that, but it is what it is. The world is not exactly the kindest place. I know that. People can be cruel.
They
especially
definitely
the ones
can.
that are closest to you, and that's just how it is. Yeah, but sorry for being a Debbie Downer here, but it's just
you're
what
not.
it is.
You're not, man. I mean,
It's
look,
not me for once.
Yeah.
Shut up, Sam.
Hey, look.
Oh, Sam's back. Oh, hi.
Let me tell you something. I've noticed this. People like us who like to help, we're usually the ones that are the hardest to receive help. I lost a friend because I wouldn't take her help. I was always helping her, and I wouldn't let her help me. And then something happened. I went to buy someone a gift for Christmas. She wouldn't take it because her mother raised her not to take gifts from men. And I said, well, and I thought to myself, well, I can understand that in general, but I was like, it's Christmas. There's no ulterior motive. And so, of course, my feelings were a little bothered by that. And so I was talking to my friend. I was kind of venting to her, and I think I told Naomi this the other day. And she was like, "See how you feel right now?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "That's exactly how you made me feel." And then she hung up on me and never spoke to me again. So,
fuck her too.
Fuck her. Yeah, exactly.
But I realized what she meant by that. And then a buddy of mine pulled me aside, he kind of, it was like, you gotta learn to accept help, man. He was like,
don't get me wrong. I get I don't mind if people ask want to offer me help. I'm very humbled by that. It's just sometimes my brain goes in this weird direction where it's like, how am I going to repay these people? It's like there's always like this weird thought in my head, like, do I have to repay these people? Is that just me being silly? I don't know why my brain goes that direction. I think it's just because I've been wronged by a lot of people, and people have taken my kindness for a little bit of weakness, or that's that kind of stuff. And people keep stressing to me like, yeah, don't push yourself. I don't want to use you or whatever. I get that. It's just still a learning process for me. With a name like Pickle, I learned to have thick skin. Funny enough, I know someone in Scotland who has the name Pickles as a last name. Funnily enough, literally
related.
Pickles.
They're related.
Maybe.
But and Andy he's a perfect example of somebody who sticks his pickle in. Never mind that.
Wow, Larry.
Wow. I stopped it.
Way to prove his point.
You were saying, Larry?
I stopped it, but I stopped it because he's not getting monkeypox or anything. I don't think, but But speaking of somebody who will not accept help, the gentleman below me could get hit by a bus and he will not let the paramedics help him. That's how stubborn he is.
No,
Sam, how dare you?
I have this is not an exaggeration. I know it sounds like tough guy talk. It's not. It's mostly because I was broke and cheap and didn't want to incur a bunch of fucking debt. I have set my own bones.
I agree.
That's fair.
I can see his point. I'd be the same way too.
Yeah,
Weirdly, I mean, it makes sense. I don't like pain, so setting my own bones.
It already hurts at that point, man. It's not like I mean, it's. I'm
trying to
already
give you
in
a
pain.
compliment. You know what I don't understand is, okay, so you got, but see, it's smooth. The other thing too is, I'm not saying that, like, I didn't even know any of that happened to him, but what I do know is that Sam at one point was a cage fighter, and so at least I know some of the injuries he had, you know, came from his many battles in the octagon, so to speak.
Mhm.
But
What he means
also,
is I got my ass kicked a lot, which is true.
but
I mean, you got to learn the hard way. I mean, I can tell you a story. Well, oh, Larry's gone.
Oh, yeah, we just lost. He'll be back.
No, that's okay. I mean, I can share this story as well because we're on the at this point of like you know, taking beatings and everything. I mean, I've said that I've made a video about this about, well, right shortly after Christmas actually. I was beaten to a pulp about 12 years ago. At this point, today, this year is actually 12 years. I was beaten up on my way to work, and I almost died. Ever since then, I actually carry myself a lot different when it comes to my attitude in life and everything, because life's too short to just dwell on dumb shit. You know, that's why I'm like, well, I might as well just make the most of it and appreciate the company that I keep. You know. And that made me more aware of my surroundings. And yeah, if I wouldn't have played dead, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys right now. This could have been very different. I live with pain. Gout is less than fun. Yeah, I don't envy people with gout. Honestly, it's not good. You know, Aaron, I learned to live with it after a while. It's actually good for me to talk about this because I used to have like night terrors frequently about this shit, and I'm kind of glad that they're slowly but steadily going away. I have like the odd instance where I actually have nightmares or still about this, but it's getting better, you know. And I think, like I said, it helps talking about this and, you know, processing it. I mean, I could have could have sought out a therapist, but then again, yeah, I don't know. He probably would have judged me and probably put me on like a suicide watch or some shit, some stuff like that. And like I said, I'm just enjoying my life and make the most out of it. And that's why I love helping people. You know, my attitude towards helping people has never changed, despite almost beaten to a pulp by some teenagers who shouldn't have been out and about at that time. It was like 5 a.m. or something like that on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day.
Wow, on Christmas Day.
Yep, that was a great Christmas gift, I tell you. Still feel that pain in my ribs every once in a while, but that's okay. You know, I learned to live with it.
Rib pain never really totally goes away.
Nope.
You know,
I still feel it every
even
once
after
in a while.
it's healed. Yeah, you're never going to completely get rid of that because of the nature of ribs and how they set. I've cracked a few myself. I've never broken any clean out, but I have cracked a few. I got a buddy who actually ended up. So you know where the front part of your rib cage connects to the sternum, right? Yeah. I think it was the second or third one down on the left side got popped out during a brawl. And like it was, he didn't actually break the rib. What happened was the cartilage connecting it to the sternum tore. So it literally popped out of the socket. And it still hasn't healed right. It's still a little bit offset, so you can feel the lump on his chest where it butts up against it at a bad angle. And that was, I don't know, 15 years ago.
Yeah, it really goes fully away, and that's the thing, you know. And I mean, like I said, I normally don't need pain medication for it, but when I do need it, I really, really need it. Luckily, I'm not really like reliant or dependent on pain medication anymore. But the first few years, it was really bad.
Yeah,
honestly. But hey, you know what? Like I said, I changed my attitude towards life a little bit since then, and you know, I learned to live with it. it's not an easy thing to do, but hey, you know what? I met amazing people thanks to this, and I'm very grateful for that. That I got a second chance.
Indeed.
You know,
Sam got a second chance. You know what he does for fun, Smooth? He captures rattlesnakes and then he
There we
uses
go.
them. He put what?
I knew.
I see Nomi's judging look.
I knew that story was right there. I knew it was coming.
It's not a real story.
About snakes today.
It is a real story.
Interesting.
Look, early last year, and Nomi wasn't on that episode. She wasn't on the episode. Early last year, I showed a photo of his handiwork. And people don't know. He says what he says. Oh, it's a story, this, and this. But one time after one show, we got off, and he was like, you know, I actually made a steering wheel out of one of them, a steering wheel cover. And I was just like,
out of the skin. Not the whole snake.
But you admitted to doing stuff with your car, taking a snake and using it to do stuff for your car.
Parts of it, yeah, in the same way that you would make a belt.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
you
skin
used
it.
one for a belt. He used one for a timing belt for his engine.
That's not true either.
I showed the photo.
That photo was clearly photoshopped because I still have it. I saw it the other day.
It was not photoshopped, but no, but it's one of see, we have a segment that we do on the show. Sometimes we talk about cryptids, you know, urban legends and stuff like that. And there is it's become a bit of an urban legend about Sam using rattlesnakes to power up his car engine because he claims that he saw a rattlesnake hitch a ride on a car from California and that it pulled up in front of a gas station he was working at, and the people who were driving had no idea that this thing was wrapped around the axle.
I'm assuming it was from California. It was a species of rattler that does not exist in the area that I was living in at the time.
Just me.
Well, it was a Western Diamondback, so it had to be at least it had to be from Oregon or somewhere around there.
It was a big snake.
Huge.
No, it's a probably 5-6 footer.
Dang.
What?
How? Yeah.
Damn.
That's like a python.
Yep.
Well, the certain species of rattlesnakes get that big, but
Yeah, they do get that big. Like Eastern Diamondbacks will get that big.
I still don't think anything happened to that because it was probably extremely damaged from that road trip. It was like holding onto the axle for dear life, but meanwhile the friction was like burning off all of the fucking belly scales.
I mean, yeah, that's a tough road trip for any kind of snake. I mean,
that snake had to be dizzy as hell too. I mean, he probably would have bit the mess out of that driver. I mean, if he could see, if by then he's probably seen 100 of them. Like, hey, hold still, so I can bite the mess out of you.
Yeah, he wasn't even rattling. He was just like he's like, I got to get the hell out of here, and he went off into the grass, and that was last. So, and I assume if it had survived, there would have been a bigger problem because we do have rattlesnakes out here. They're just different species, but different species of rattlesnakes can crossbreed. You know, ours are much smaller than Western Diamondbacks. We have prairie and timber rattlers. They're not very big. You know, like they get 2.5 feet long, and that's a really old big snake for them. So, you know,
still don't want to get bit by them suckers.
Yeah,
no,
I'm good.
no.
I don't want to get snake bites. So I'm good.
But
no, they do. I'm curious because I don't like most of the snakes that you read about, especially those venomous varieties, don't usually live in the northern latitudes because it tends to be too cold for them. They tend to be closer to the tropics, that kind of thing. But so when we talk about like we have them in weird places here, but usually they're dormant for like 9 months out of the year because it's cold as shit.
That's true.
In Germany, are there any particular species of like venomous snakes that are common there? Nobody
Not
talks
that
about
I
German
know of. I mean, we have like non-lethal ones. Just trying to
that's
figure out what
nice.
the English. I'm trying to figure out what the we got a slow worm essentially, but it's not really
a slow worm.
It's a
Yeah, it's like a
legless
reptile.
lizard. Yeah.
It's like a lizard kind of thing. We have in some regions we might have some descendant of a python, but I'm not very sure actually. Not that I know that there are any poisonous ones, but I mean we have the common European viper in certain regions, but that's like very out in the deepest of wilds, I guess. But I think the most common one would be a grass snake, or like
Like a
barred
garden
grass
snake?
a garden snake. Yeah, but those are very very rare, from what I can hear. I mean, we have like more problems with brown bears or like wolves than anything else, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
brown
fair
bears is
enough.
more like southern Germany, so yeah.
No, yeah,
But
no, I was just
never really had a snake problem.
Yeah, it was just something I was curious about because when you hear people talking about indigenous wildlife, dangerous wildlife, like Germany
Yeah.
never really comes up in a conversation.
Nah, we're pretty uneventful when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's just like you have like I said, you have like the odd like wolf or like other kind of like mammal, but that's all there is really, you know.
Yeah.
And it is true, snakes don't like the cold, and like most of northern Europe, apart from like the summer months, is pretty cold.
Mhm.
Especially if you go the further you go east, the colder it gets.
Right. Well,
I mean,
that's
you
one of
probably have
the
higher chances of seeing snakes in Portugal or Spain, or
sure,
in
sure.
like the
They're because they're
Mediterranean.
closer to the more temperate and tropical climates. But yeah, no, that's kind of interesting. The one of the common things that I hear from a lot of Europeans who've never been to the United States is how shocked they are at how big it actually is. Because we cover, a third of the entire continent of North America, and that
Yep.
covers a lot of different climates. Like we do not like one part of the country is not like another part of the country. So like in Texas, for example, it's pretty warm there most of the year. Where I live in Wyoming, it's a little bit closer to the Russian steppes in terms of climate. It tends to
I mean,
be dull and gray, and in the winter, very cold.
I mean, Nomi explained this to me one time, that she said that when I was in Houston, I can't compare like the Houston heat compared to like other parts of the South,
West
right?
Texas.
Because West Texas is pretty
Dry.
that was dry, and the further east you go, the more humid it gets, right? That's how it was explained to me, kind of.
Like the more east that you're in Texas, it's the humidity. The more west, which is like literally here at the tip, it's just dry heat.
Right.
It's literal desert.
I had to get accustomed to that as well, because you have to consider this. I went in August, which is like, I don't know. That's like, I'm trying to think what the Fahrenheit is. Let me see. It was like 75. It was like 75. It was like average 75 degrees, like Fahrenheit.
Oh, that's a nice day.
That's a nice day. And I went from 75 degrees to 113 or 115. I was like, what the heck?
Yep.
Like I got off the plane, I felt like I was melting immediately. And the taxi driver was like, "Oh yeah, it's your first time here, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, you might want to keep some drinks around because you're probably going to need them." That was like at night, because I arrived at like 8 p.m. and it was like still boiling hot. I was like,
"Yeah,
this is August, I'm already like looking forward to when I come over next, which is going to be like end of May, beginning of June, latest next year. And I'm probably going to anticipate even warmer temperatures then, because it's going to be like probably even warmer then compared to like what it was in August. It's going to be it's kind of wild, but you do get used to it after a while.
You do. You do. Like for myself, because I've lived high altitude, low oxygen, and usually in much colder climate than say Florida, for example. Florida is practically on sea level. I have lived at or above a mile above sea level my entire life. It feels there's so much moisture in the air and so much pressure, just because the air is thicker, down closer to the sea level. I feel like I'm drowning. I feel like I can't breathe. But these guys,
That's
they
kinda
from
wild.
Florida, they come up to where I live, and they feel like there's not enough oxygen because there's a lot less than they're used to.
It's funny how that works, huh?
Yeah. So you
It's
do
funny how
adapt
it
to
works.
where you live. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, it was like kind of a shock, like coming across and then just witnessing these crazy temperatures. And I even had to like take pictures of the thermometer every single time I checked it. I was like, this is unreal. And when I came back home, it was like below 60 Fahrenheit. When I came back home, I was like, yeah, I kind of miss the sun now.
How was your body feeling with going through those extreme temperatures?
I did surprisingly well, all things considered, because I kind of made sure that I wore clothes that were protecting enough of my skin so I don't expose my body too much to the sun.
Mhm.
But I also made sure that I stayed hydrated a lot, because people told me like, yeah, no, you need a lot of water when you're here. It took me, I think, at least 3 days to actually get used to the heat. I spend a lot of time outside as well to get accustomed to it, but it was always weird whenever I got into an air-conditioned room, how my body had to readjust a little.
Mm-hmm.
It was even worse when I got off the plane and back in Europe, because, like I said, the temperature difference was like extreme. I got on a plane in Houston, and it was like 105. And I got off the plane, it was like 61 degrees or something. It was like very freaking cold.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a
yeah,
50-degree drop. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to like get used to that as well. And then on top of that, having like suffering jet lag as well. I mean, yeah. You learn to live with it somehow,
Nice.
Yeah, it's a different, an interesting experience. But I'm definitely well more prepared for next time I'm there. That's
All
for
right.
sure. At least my body knows what to expect in that regard.
Well, look, now you know a couple of people in Texas now.
That is
So
true.
just come and look us up. Give me a heads up when you're coming out here, man. So
Will
we
do.
can
Will do,
so I
man.
can get the crew together. I know there's
Sounds good.
even some people in the chat, one of which was in the chat tonight, and I know he lives probably about an hour and a half from where I'm at right now.
That's amazing. I mean,
So
the funny old thing is, like, ever since I got on the internet and started doing this stuff a little bit more than before I actually went on YouTube, I didn't really have this massive
Nice.
support from outpouring support from Americans, right? Because it was like I found a hard time finding an audience, and
Mhm.
yeah, some people even call me honorary American already in some chats when every time I bump into them, and they're like, "Yeah, you're good. Just come to the States, man. We'd
Yeah.
love to have you." And I'm like, this is still bizarre to me, because I'm just some random asshat German who just happens to speak more English than German nowadays. But it's
well, trust me,
it's kind of funny.
Trust me, that goes a long way. But Americans, despite what the news and everything says, we're very welcoming people.
Well, I learned that very quickly, especially when I went the Southern hospitality.
Mhm.
It's no joke. It's real.
Oh yeah, yeah, it definitely is.
You guys
But
are
hey,
crazy hospitable, and I'm very grateful for that.
yeah,
Most of the time. Yeah.
you got
Unless
you got
you
your,
piss off the wrong
well,
people.
well, you got your pricks. I mean, you go to California. I mean, there's
Yeah.
good people in California. I mean,
Avoid those people.
we definitely we've got some good friends in California. But yeah, and I grew up there, and it's a whole other mentality out there. I mean, everywhere else, people see you and they nod their head, they say good morning. You're in Los Angeles, you say good morning. What the f you want? What do you mean good morning? What the hell are you talking to me for? What do you
It's
want?
like common courtesy to say good morning or hello.
If they
But
don't know
apparently
you,
that's lost on people.
yeah. If they don't know you, yeah, get ready for, especially if it's a woman that you greet. I got cussed off for, I was walking into a bank, went to open up the door. I got yelled at by this lady because I mean she's right behind me, so of course so I'm just opening the door. I don't know you, and I'm not interested in you. Da, da, da. And I was like, lady, I'm going into the bank. You were right behind me. I'm opening the
That's
door.
my
I'm not gonna-
purse. I don't
Yeah.
know you.
That's my purse. That's my purse.
So man, my
Mhm.
poor and my wife, my poor wife, man. She's from the Midwest, very hospitable, and she got out there, and
Yeah.
man, it was a culture shock to her. She's just just stopping, just talking to people, and they're looking at her like she's crazy. Like, who are you? You know,
Mm.
But she's used to where she was, where she's from. She's used to people being friendly like that, and
Right. I think we lost Aaron
yeah,
again.
this ain't the
Okay.
place for me. She was like, these people are. She was like, yeah, these
Yeah,
people
I mean,
are not.
what I realized, especially since COVID, is that people have been acting like a bunch of fucking pricks. Like they get even more hostile to you. That's what I noticed, very much so. I don't know what it is. Maybe people just don't have an excuse to be nice to each other anymore. I don't know. Maybe that's just me percepting people wrong, but I noticed
think
that
that-
a few times too. But I witnessed the complete opposite when I was over in Texas. There was like even this woman that approached me when I was in Walmart to actually just buy some snacks for the last 2 days. I was there. She approached me. She was like, "Excuse me, sir, can I have a moment of your time?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, sure. What do you want?" "I actually want to do this survey with you." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm not even from here." And she was like, "Really? You have a regional accent." I was like, "No, I just came here like a week ago, So I don't think I can answer that for you. I mean, I heard that there's like German communities in Texas in certain parts, but
Yes.
I definitely am not an American, not yet at least.
Yeah, and I used to live in Ohio, and there's a German town in Ohio as well. There's a German village. Yep.
Most of the
I mean, I
people
saw.
where I'm at are either descended from German settlers or Norwegian settlers and some mix of Native American or other.
Let's just say the Germans got around a lot.
Oh yeah, my great grandmother was a Native American woman who was sold to my great grandfather, who was a German immigrant.
Wow.
Yes.
Every stream I
they
get,
got around.
I get to know you every stream. I'm with you, Sam. Like I found out about your sister, what she does.
Know me, loves
Graham.
me.
Yeah. There's always something new
Actually.
with Sam.
I've lived a life.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, I've lived a life too. It's just a lot of the stuff I lived is behind several documents I had to sign. I was strongly suggested to sign them by the U.S. government, saying I can't say anything. So I was like, yeah, I can't even tell you guys what
That I don't blame you for.
Yeah, and I was like, nope, I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah.
Australian accent.
I've actually heard people mistake certain Texan regional accents for Australian. It has something to do with the way they draw certain vowels, I think.
Let's be honest here. Australians have a very refined accent, and it sounds like a German trying to speak English, but horribly. I mean, do you ever hear someone say? No,
I gotta tell Gregory that.
Seriously, because if you really think about it, who says table with an e instead of table? Like it doesn't make any fucking sense.
And how they say no, they say nar.
Nah.
Nar. Yeah, nar.
No.
You mean no? You mean no?
Yeah, nar.
No, it wasn't the emus. Emus.
And nar wasn't the emus.
It's even if somebody says like if you like have a deck of cards, for example. I had that example when I was in a pub once, because I used to go to this Irish bar and I used to hang out with like Irish, English, Welsh, like half brats basically, because we had a lot of British military here. And there was an Aussie in the bar as well, and he was like, "Hey, that's a nice dick of cards you got there." I just looked at the Aussie like, "What the fuck did you say?" And he said dick of cards. I was like, "You mean deck of cards?" "Yeah, dick."
Yeah, so it's what I say, dick.
Dick. That conversation got really awkward very quickly. I was like, right, okay, I'm just gonna go over there and get myself a drink. So that's what I'm saying. Like Australians are like the equivalent to a German speaking horrible English. I mean, Grant Gregory will probably disagree. Mr. Mozza as well. I know that for a fact.
Oh,
Lethal
yeah,
Lightning
Moss is going to
probably.
disagree with anything anybody says. So,
Well,
no.
screw him anyway. But yeah, that's besides the point. But like if I compare like Lethal Lightning, for example, with like some other people that I know from other streams, for example, he sounds more normal as an Australian because he's got this like, well, is it Queensland accent? I think it's the Queensland accent because that sounds very close to the British accent. It sounds more normal, you know.
Lethal's
like,
pretty easy to understand. Yeah.
Yeah, compared to like other Aussies, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, I had a hard time adjusting to some of these southern accents, but I'm slowly getting used to it because the more I listen to people, the more my brain wires itself to like understand accents a little bit better because I had a very hard time understanding southern accent in movies, for example. I had to like put on subtitles for certain movies because I couldn't understand shit.
Oh, I'm sure. And there are something like 23 different accents from the American South that are vastly different from each other.
Yep.
And that's just the American South. Right. That's not including the rest of the country. We have more accents for the same language in this country than I think the rest of the English speaking world combined, except maybe London.
I mean, let's be honest here. Most Germans learn like Oxford English in school, which is like the posh kind of, I'll have a cup of tea, love, kind of speech. Or like, I'll have a sandwich with you. You know, that kind of thing. And it is mind-boggling how silly that actually is.
Can I have a bottle of water? It's raining in it.
Oh, water. What?
Bottle of water?
When you say that.
Are we going outside for a walk, are we? That kind of just so silly, you know.
Right, you are, my love.
I was.
Are you a winker?
I'm not gonna lie. I would lie if I would say I was bored to tears in school because of my bilinguality. Because like English classes were boring as fuck for me. I just sat there. I was dozed off because I was like, I know this already. Move on. It was even funnier when we had the final exams of school. I had like an English exam, and that I was supposed to finish this in 3 hours. I just looked at the piece of paper. I was like, yeah, no, I don't need 3 hours for this shit. So I smuggled my iPod into the final exam and just listened to music while I was writing the English exam. And I handed it in within 1 hour. The teacher was like, "Are you sure you want to hand it in?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm 100% certain." You know, well, passed with an A+, but therefore I failed in maths. So it's okay. You live and you learn. You can only be good at one thing, either languages or maths. That's what I learned.
Nice.
I'm not good at either, so it's fine.
I mean, let's be really. Is anybody actually perfect in English? Not really, right?
Nah.
No.
Nah. That'll be fine. It's
Hey,
kind of funny because Clue.
Yeah, you missed. We've been here for over 2 hours. Late as hell. What do you mean?
Yeah,
We're late as hell.
We've been here, man. Dude, we're going on almost 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I mean, we joined rather late to this one, so we're actually late. So
actually, no. I mean, we weren't even at an hour and a half when you guys showed up. We were like just under an hour and a half.
Where did the time go? Wow.
Yeah, and we started at 10:40. So my time we started at 10:40.
You bet your breeches. Andy. You bet your breeches. We're gonna glue you back together.
But yeah, so we are over the 2-hour mark. You guys want to throw any shout outs or anything you want to say before we shut down?
I mean, I'll go with the basic shout outs that I usually do. Just subscribe to my awesome friends because I feel like they deserve all the attention they can get, and that goes without saying. And that goes for Nomi, goes for Larry and everybody else. And I feel like they all deserve a lot more love on the internet because they make awesome stuff and stuff that really should be normal, you know, like entertaining stuff and also some insightful things. So yeah, that's all I can say really.
I'll remember you said that.
Yeah.
The more you come on, you haven't even seen the full effect of what we said, and the look on your face, I was like, yeah, the shock factor. That's what I was looking for.
Honestly, I didn't expect to learn anything today, but I actually did learn some things today. So that's actually quite a good thing. And I mean, I watched last week's show and I was like cringing a little bit at some of the things that we were talking about, like the tattoos and everything. I was like, oh no. Like I could feel my neck hair standing up, like, ugh, no, don't do this to yourselves. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's an amazing. I love the internet, because you meet a lot of interesting people and you get to learn a lot of new things that you didn't expect to actually find out about, and that's why I love this so much.
Yeah, and that's why we have this format. Whenever we remember, we remind people if they're under 18, do not watch, because the flagship of the channel is Screaming Into the Void, which you're always welcome to come on. It's Saturday afternoons, so but you're always welcome to come on. That's when Sam really gets into a lot of the conversation that we had tonight is normally something you would have found tomorrow.
I didn't mean to derail the stream with that one, so sorry.
No. You're fine, man. This one is more. I mean, we'll break into going into great conversation, especially when we have somebody new on a panel for the first time like yourselves. We want to get give everybody a chance to get to know you and to see how you are, and then we just we try to keep it free flowing, but yeah, this channel is we warn people. We keep this one unpredictable for a reason. And a lot of it is that even Nomi's told me at the time, I mean, you heard what she said last week. Some of the stuff you say shocked me. Yeah, I say it for shock value, because really in my outside of the streaming and normal life, there's a lot of stuff that I just don't do. And even with the articles that I've brought up, there's normally worse articles that I've seen throughout the week that I'm like, there's no way in the world that I'm not reading that article. I came across one earlier today, and it was something. And the funny thing is, it was in Germany about a nudist colony. A bunch of nudists pissed off that nobody's going over there much anymore. Yep. And I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. And then I realized the article is showing these people completely naked. And I was like, and they're all old. And I was like, no. I was like, first of all, I'm not putting Sam's channel in a situation to where a bunch of old people's rear ends are being shown.
Yep.
I don't want to see that either.
Yeah. I didn't want to see it. When I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I did not want to see that, because it wasn't the first thing. I had to scroll down. I'm reading the article. And I'm like, okay, well, this doesn't really have anything to do with us, and then boom, there was a photo. I was like, nope. But it's just, for me, it fascinates me how people in the world in general, how we swing from one extreme to the other, and so that's why a lot of times I'll show these articles, because it's like, we'll see all this other stuff that's going on, and then in real life, you start hearing stories and seeing things that you would swear, wait a minute, I thought this was only in a movie, But real life fascinates me, regardless of wherever it goes. Now, yeah, there's some articles that I've come on here and read, and then when we closed the show, I was like, wow.
Yeah, it does shock you what kind of stuff happens in the world sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean, this whole nude culture thing doesn't really surprise me, because I learned that from a very young age, and the Germans are wired a bit differently. Nudity is okay for them, but violence is not. So
yeah,
it's kind of the opposite of where you are, right? Because
Germany's a lot more free with the sexuality than Americans are, but we have no problem watching people get their heads blown off. So yeah,
I mean, the best example I can give is you can watch a film rated G or PG, where there's like full frontal nudity in it, and you're like, what the heck? Yeah,
that used to be a thing here, but as long as it wasn't in a sexual manner. But that changed, I think, in the late '80s. But it was like that here once upon a time.
I think the sexual stuff really depends on the context of the movie, but I think it's like for ages 12 and up here nowadays. And there used to be like G or PG, which is kind of nutty if you really think about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And it really depends on the movie, because if it's a movie that's made here, for some reason the ratings boards are a bit more lenient in giving them lower ratings than like the overseas stuff, or like the abroad stuff, like the French movies. I mean, Yeah, they're French, but they can't help it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
French
We got,
French are a bunch of weirdos, but that's
They
just
are.
The French are a bunch of weirdos. They've got a stupid language, and yeah, I don't
Here we go.
I don't know if you could tell from like past stuff. I know the audience here has a good understanding of how I feel about the French, but fuck them.
they're
Well,
pricks.
isn't that what they want?
They're a bunch of fucking pricks. I
And
can openly
cowards.
say that. And cowards, yeah. Well, I mean, you know how the French salute goes, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know what? That's exactly what I thought when the EU first started getting rolling. Right, this was all started in Germany, the whole EU thing, right?
Mhm.
And when all that ball got rolling, the French were one of the first countries to sign up. And of course, the first thing that pops into my head when that happened was, oh look, it's 100 years later, and the French are still doing what the Germans tell them to.
Funny how that works, huh?
Yeah. But you know what? I came across a lot of people that were saying that, and I heard a comment something like, "Well, isn't bending over their best position or something like that?" I was like, "Dang."
Yeah.
If you want a good
Like-
laugh, especially for the audience, look up the Family Guy sketch about the ambulance sirens in French. You'll get a good laugh out of that one.
Mhm.
Okay.
I
Because
think
it
I've seen
sounds
that.
like sounds like well, I'm not going to say it right now, but just watch the clip. It's pretty funny when you listen to it, especially when you hear it in public. Then it's like, wow.
Yeah. Nah, it's I don't know. I got a thing about the French, and I know that they technically helped us out a little bit in the Revolutionary War and all that shit. But I think we're way past that. We saved your asses a couple of times, and you're still telling us we're a bunch of assholes whilst eating your fucking snails. And it's just I don't like the French. I don't like their language. I don't like the way they use their
They
numerical
always
system.
sound arrogant. They always sound arrogant
Yeah.
for some reason.
And
Bunch of dicks.
didn't we get pulled into Vietnam because of our treaty with them? Because I remember reading something about the Vietnamese came to us first asking for help, but because we had a treaty with France, it pulled us into the Vietnam War.
Sort
and that's
of.
how we ended up going after them.
Something like that, yeah.
Sort
I
of,
heard something
yeah.
like that.
See, the French occupied Vietnam before we did for quite some time. It was like 20 years, and they got their asses kicked the same way that we did. We kind of moved in when the French moved out because we were after the same resources that the French were. But because of said treaty, like you're saying, we couldn't exactly step on French toes. So while they were occupying Vietnam, we couldn't go in there. But once they left, we absolutely could, and we did. That had nothing to do with bringing freedom to anybody. By the way, it was over resources that were found in Vietnam and nowhere else, which are gone now, by the way, because we napalmed the fuck out of them.
Yeah, that was smart.
That's true.
And they palmed our own people. Thanks, government.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm reminded though of when you say the French, because I think Larry, it might have been you that brought it up, or maybe it was somebody else here recently, where they said, well, just think of that they invented French kissing. I was like, yeah, they also invented French baths, which are fucking disgusting.
French are responsible for a lot of disgusting things. Let's just keep it real, yeah.
Those like
We-
pencil thin
Well, I'm saying
mustaches. And
disgusting,
they're
but-
stupid. Yeah.
I mean, when you talk with an accent like that, what can you expect when you speak the English?
Right.
You want the baguette? You can go to the opposite side of the street and get to the restaurant there. Who cares?
That was perfect. That was perfect. You know, hey, Smooth, you know that Nomi does accents too, and she's really good.
Does she?
I can't remember what she did. This really good accent. I couldn't even try it. I was like,
Which accent did I do?
I can't remember. I think you and Sam were doing it back and forth, and I felt so bad, Smooth. I couldn't even participate in it. I just sat back and just turned my mic.
I do a few accents badly.
I mean, I can pull off a very convincing German accent, but it's fucking terrible. But that's beside the point.
I tried a new one last night.
Sometimes I like to, when I used to stream on Twitch for a while, I used to throw off people because I had like a German and English audience there, but it was like 2 or 3 people. And every single time I flicked from German to English, people were like, how do you do that? It's like they were so shocked about that, because I could just switch on the fly and say like, yeah, guten Tag, my name is Smooth, ich komme aus Deutschland. That kind of stuff. It works in funny ways because I can mess with people easily that way. pretending to not understand them and then just go like, well, actually, fucker, I understand you. You know?
Well,
Oh yeah, Flight of the Conchords, the song Fu du Fafa. Yeah, I know that song. That's pretty good. Andy, that's a good song.
yeah.
And funnily enough, I shit on the French a lot, but I actually had French in school for 6 years, so I have passing language knowledge of French, but it's not great. I mean, I can say what my name is. I can ask where the castle is, and all that stuff. But that's where my basic knowledge ends nowadays.
That's about how much Russian I know.
Давай, привет.
Yeah. Привет, меня зовут Самуил.
Нет.
Я говорю
that said-
русский язык.
Nomi, you want to plug anything?
Monday, Call of Cthulhu with Moonskull. It's Sevi and Erudite. I think we come back this Monday, depending if they come back from Dallas. I think they will be back from Dallas. Dames and Dorks is coming Thursday. I'm back with Midnight's Edge Espanol. You'll see me on their Wednesday streams. I'll be doing that for them. That's what I got going on right now. Besides hiccups.
Your kick stream.
My Kick stream, yes. Go follow me on Kick at Nomi Without You. I am 155 followers. I need 50 more so I can get to 200, and then I can beat Tabitha in another bet. That'd be great. I did.
What's going on?
Tabitha likes to lose to me.
Yes.
What else I was going to say?
Well,
yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I am going to get started on my YouTube gaming channel, so you'll be seeing that pretty soon.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice.
I mean, Nomi's 32 away from 400 subs, by the way, guys. If you haven't subscribed to Nomi on YouTube, please do it. And also go subscribe to her Kick. She does some awesome gameplays. And yeah, just, follow the Dames and Dorks podcast because it's an amazing show and I actually enjoy that.
Yeah,
thoroughly.
I love Dames and Dorks. That is an amazing show.
It's a great show.
With amazing ladies, an amazing cast on there. I mean, I know it sounds like we're simping, but we're not. They definitely deserve every accolade that they're getting. Nomi deserves the accolades with her gaming, and I encouraged her the other day. I was like, you have a natural knack for gaming and streaming. Not everybody has that.
That's true. That is
Thank
true.
you. I just get frustrated, and that's what I use.
I mean, you're just being you. I said that to you the other day, and that's what people like about you as well. So, that's what I was saying.
When I played Bendy in the Ink Machine the other day, I was like, when these two new characters came out, I was like, "Who are you? Who's that?"
That was funny as hell. But I tell you what, when Bendy came out as that ink monster, I jumped out of my bed. I was laying down. I was like, "What the hell was that?"
It's Bendy and the Ink Monster, and I lost myself a couple of times in that game. I had to Google like, what do I do next? I don't know. I'm lost. So that's what makes my streams, I guess, interesting. But yeah, come watch me play games and hear chats.
Let's talk games.
Let's talk games.
Yeah. All righty. And as for me, you guys, you know where to find me every Friday with my co-host, Nomi Without You and Sammy the Infamous, every Friday night right here on Abyssal Musings. I am still working on my Kick stream, so that is fully on the go. I'm going to get back into my storytelling, so I am still writing content for that. I had to get my confidence back because I was like, man, nobody wants to sit there and just listen to me tell 5-minute short stories or anything like that. Like I feel stupid. And, I got in my head and I was like, you know what? Let me go back to doing it. People either like it or they don't. But let me get back to what I was doing. So, but yeah, all of that's coming down the pike. I'm gonna do my gaming probably strictly on Kick though. I like how Kick is set up.
Yeah. It's way more encouraging as well to stream on them.
Yeah, and YouTube can get a little tricky when you're playing games. I mean, because sometimes every once in a while they'll copyright strike you for games like the music's built into the game.
You can't help it.
Yeah, you can't do anything about it. Now, some games where they caught on to this, and so what the studios did was that if it was they gave you the option to turn it off, but now it's like, okay, well, now you have no music, you have no nothing, you just don't, But with that said, great stream tonight. Next week, guys, we got the Sporkle quiz. Smooth, you are always welcome to come back.
Thank you.
At the beginning of next month, we'll be doing the another quiz night that I'm calling Red, White, and Boom. So 2 weeks ago, I don't know if you saw it. Did you see the thing we did 2 weeks ago?
Did I see that? I think I missed
you may
that.
not. I think you missed.
I missed it.
But yeah, 2 weeks ago. So what we do every once in a while, we'll have we'll do quizzes, right? We'll do like trivia, and so I create them.
Wait, actually, I did watch that when you were asking like Nomi how she knows the answers to certain things.
Right.
That one, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So
we had
actually
Horror
catch that a little
and
bit.
some other people.
Yeah,
what
so
did you say, Sam?
So we had Horror Murata and a couple of other people.
Oh yeah. I thought you were trashing on me, but okay. That's
no, he knows.
No, I was describing the show.
I was making sure. I was making sure.
Were you?
No, he's a whore.
Yeah, because I heard I was like, oh no, this is not gonna be.
That's what you heard. That's not what I said, though. So,
but yeah, hey, look, you're welcome to come back and participate on that. So of course, Nomi's she's a host too, so she can bring whoever she wants.
Yeah.
But with that said, that's all I have to say. So Sam, I'll pass the torch to you.
Yep. All right. And so, y'all know where to find me. This is my channel, Samuel the Infamous. I am Samuel the Infamous, currently haunter of the shitternet because of the quality of my, connection. You can find me here on Rumble under Samuel the Infamous, which if you're watching in either of those places, you already know that, or under Hentai Surprise on Twix, which you should also already know that if you're watching there. Otherwise, we'll be back here for Screaming into the Void number 99 tomorrow.
99.
And yes. And then on Monday, you'll be able to find me over on Adam the Renaissance Nerd's channel for Mellow Mondays. In the interim, should she, stream this weekend or whenever, you can also find myself and Lawrence Knight over on Exiled Lioness 2. It's a little bit more hardcore politically, but it is what it is. And other than that, we'll be back here next week for more Abyssal Musings. So, and don't forget, Saturday following this one, 100th episode of Screaming into the Void. So should be a good time. I got a special thumbnail and everything. It's a callback to a really dirty joke from a couple of weeks ago. So I can't wait to unveil that. Anyway, for all of you who are watching, who have not commented, we do appreciate you being here. Those of you who are in the chat, thank you guys. Every week we see you guys, and you're all awesome. Thank you to my co-hosts Lawrence and Nomi, and to our special guest Smooth, whose information will be added to both this and the Rumble after we're done here, because I can't really edit that live. But
that's okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about all I got. It was an awesome show, everybody.
Thank you for having me.
And remember, absolutely, it could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras. Have a great night.